Yes. The light turned green, Mike. Did you even hear that, Danny? That was a new version of the song.
Oh, I've heard it.
He's the one who made it.
I made it.
I think the flat out feed that I think the Crofty's voice there should be a little louder. Should be like him screaming it. Flat out fever.
All right, next week.
Next time we meet Crofty, we'll do that.
Yes. We'll rope him into this.
Not that we met him the first time
At all.
or at all.
Hey.
He screamed her name though.
Hey, we're here. We're back at the Girth Radio Studios in what turned out to be an actually pretty alright day in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, right? I thought we were supposed to get rained on, and then like the weather was like, I think I'll do it sometime later.
Yeah, it's hot. It's
Hot
hot.
and sticky.
It's
Actually,
hot like it was in Montreal.
Oh shit. Let's jump right into that. So
I really gotta like reposition this mic. It's like always like in my way. I can't see my computer.
the mic is super like
It's very
it's
heavy.
so limp
Yeah.
too. It just keeps going down. Yo, but
It's-
Montreal.
It's been a week and a bit, but in that time we've had some reflection, I guess, right?
Yes.
Some time to soak it in, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We couldn't get together before now, but
No, we were all very, very.
Hey,
busy.
actually, apologies to our regulars that tune in all the time. We didn't do a post Monaco episode. We apologize about that. But hey, this is it. Welcome to it. Hello, episode 112 of Flat Out Fever. Here we are.
Boom.
All right, okay. So
the
let's-
Girth Radio Studio.
at the Girth Radio Studios, back in Toronto, back from Montreal. We did release a little bit of content while we were in Montreal. We'll talk about
That's
that
right.
later. But
A
let's
bit more on the train on the way home.
No, we didn't do anything on the train on the way home.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Some tweets and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that was a great trip, a great weekend. I think anyone that was in the city, thank you Montreal, saw what they
Oh my
what they
God,
did.
right?
Montreal like really put on a show. And
Yeah.
Every single subway station had people guiding you, mostly police, people guiding you down the way. Here you go. Here's the train. That's where the way you want to go. Here's the track. The line mostly kept moving. There was a lot of people there.
the city
There
knew.
was a lot
I think
of
the
people
city
there.
knew like that they were expecting a lot of people. They knew that the
Yeah.
event was basically sold out for Sunday, and they prepared for it. And I'm glad that they did. Honestly, it was crazy.
Downtown in the evenings, there's 3 giant stages in the city, and one was for a separate festival.
Yeah,
of
right. Yeah,
Francophonie.
Le
It's
Francophonie or whatever. Yeah, it's a French music festival happens there. Okay,
amazing.
but
And then the race.
so
Qualifying was good.
we were talking about
Friday.
this earlier, and on Friday, it felt like it was just as packed as it was Sunday last year.
It's huge.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
massive.
it was very close, and the qualifying was probably more full than the race was last year,
Oh yeah,
or at least as much.
Yeah.
It was full. The grandstand was almost full, and for the race, it was 100%. All the grandstands were full.
it was. And
Bench from one end of the bench to the other, it was
Yeah.
full.
It was insane.
Yeah.
A notable difference between last year's, right? Because practice was. I remember going to practice the first year, so like about 2 years ago, and it was quiet, man. Like, there was people
Yeah.
filing in, but
We
It was
stood.
nothing
We
like
walked
this year.
around the whole 2 years ago. We walked around the whole track and had an open view,
Yeah.
like a huge open view.
yeah,
like,
that's right.
we were there was like a couple hundred people there, but not like in the tens of thousands.
Not like this.
We
Not
couldn't.
like this.
It took. Yeah, it was amazing.
And okay, and I just gotta give credit where credit is due. And remember, before the Lance Stroll announcement, before we interviewed him in October, there were floating rumors that the Canadian Grand Prix actually might not even happen, or the contract might not get extended. Now we know that the contract got extended till 2029.
2029.
29?
Oh my God.
Yeah, but before the Lance Stroll announcement, the Canadian Grand Prix was actually in murky waters. It was gonna be maybe the same thing that was gonna happen to Silverstone. We remember this. We talked about this.
This year it was a tentative date because
Yeah.
the mayor and whatever hadn't signed the contract, and altogether.
So remember, so at that point, actually, this is behind the scenes. We actually didn't do this for the live because we were trying. Well, actually, what we were trying to do is we were trying to get a word from somebody at Octane. So we reached out to Octane, and what we got from them is basically fantastic guy. Like, I'm not gonna say anything, but this guy from Octane was like, "Oh man, like, it's just kind of being kind of crazy." Because we didn't know if this, like, you know, to what extent the Canadian Grand Prix was going to keep happening to begin with. And then all of a sudden, the Lance Stroll announcement changed everything. And they had to really get their shit together. So whereas last year, right after the Grand Prix, like, or, you know, in years before, right after the Grand Prix, you went to the race. And then basically the next weekend, you got an email from the circuit being like, hey, how about you buy tickets for next year? How about you? We didn't get any of that last year. Last year was like kind of quiet until the announcement was made and until like the tickets were sold. And these guys had to scramble to get everything prepared in half the time or less than they had every other year, and they pulled it off. All credit where credit is due.
The grandstands were bigger.
We
noticed in some spots they were bigger.
And they, you know, they can.
Hopefully they'll grow again next year.
You know, they can go bigger. Back in like Villeneuve's day in the early '80s, like it was like stacked.
Yeah, when you look, they were much higher.
Yeah,
and more of them. There's a lot more room for more people next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have seats.
Oh, and
there were some good spots for GA before, but with that many people, you have to get there pretty early.
No.
Like we saw, like in the group, the what's that app called? What's that app called? Slack.
Oh, on Slack. Yeah,
in the Slack group, people were lining up there like, before 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's insane. I mean, we went pretty early in the first few years, and like
we were there like 7:30 or 8.
Yeah, even if like we got there late, we would always like find a decent spot, right?
Yeah.
But if you went there at 7 or 8, it's like you're shit out of luck. Remember on was it race day or the Saturday where we walked in and like the place we usually sat where we had the Trey Grandstand.
Yeah.
Like that place was just done, man.
And you could see it all, like, all down to the hairpin.
Yeah, it's super packed. Couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
No,
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I mean, we did have grandstand seats this year. So
at the hairpin, there must have been over 15,000 people.
Oh.
And what a great spectacle when they just Liberty Media. Thank goodness. We knew. No, but we knew when we got into this podcast, actually. And I remember like you joking around.
Yeah.
But even back then when like, oh my God, who's going to listen to like our idiots like rambling about this dying sport. You said something about this dying sport. Because it did feel, the mood was pretty gloomy.
Yeah.
And now, honestly, just being in Montreal, like, and having been there, okay, us for 5 years in a row, like with us, like it would be a third year.
Yeah.
It feels like a drastic difference in terms of access to the fans, in terms of promoting, like giving back to the fans.
Yeah.
So we were sitting there at the hairpin, and I don't know if anybody didn't see the pre-show. 4 cars stopped, whereas before like they all just zoomed past, with the drivers just like giving these half-ass like. You know, like the Queen's
some of them have
wave.
their headphones
Queen's
on,
wave.
texting their friends before the race or whatever.
Yeah. Now, like, they had to stop, but you could see it in their faces because the crowd was giving them back so much.
Yeah.
They actually all loved it. It's not like now it becomes clear. It's not that these guys like hate. I mean,
they're not all introverts.
Yeah,
like,
and
hiding from the kid, like. You know,
don't
the race was good. You know, giving the same answers.
Some of them must love the rock star aspect of the job, and in fact, in the 70s, that's what the whole glamour of the sport was, right?
Yeah, but Bernie's thing was like last year. No, you can't use social media. Don't take any pictures while you're here.
Yeah,
in the biggest sport in the world, don't take any pictures and put them online for people to see.
How ridiculous that sounds ridiculous, like to us now, but that was normal every day-to-day life in F1 back then.
No, it seemed ridiculous back then. we talked about this.
We did talk about it.
Ad nauseam.
Like 5 years ago,
seemed ridiculous
it still
to
was
Bernie.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But last year, like the whole thing with Lewis got scolded for Snapchatting. Remember in the press conference?
Oh man, now they're encouraged to.
Yeah, he brought his dog there like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who gives a shit, man? They're trying to keep like the old school, like Bernie Ecclestone was like, you know, like this is a prestige sport, right? This is where you wear
people.
You wear suits and you wear a Rolex and you know, you say what we tell you to say, right? Now it's like that's not selling anymore, man. It's just
not in any sport. Not in
any
It's
sport.
just not not F1 and not any sport. Like the other day. Okay, so. Actually, never mind. I was about to bring something about UFC, but never mind. No.
Okay. We're not allowed. But
okay, so the on-track stuff that the spectators got was definitely good, and you could see also from the team personnel as well. So on Thursday, and this is something that it's unique to Montreal. Again, cannot recommend this enough.
oh, stop telling people about it.
If you
too many people
I know.
too many people are going to the open track day now.
I know. But it's something great, man, and it definitely makes a difference in like people's lives and fans' enjoyment of the sport. Like, you know, how awesome is it? And like everybody that goes there for the first time, everyone that went to
open
Montreal,
track is great.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
so on the open track day, I feel like the last few years, like there was some fan interaction with the teams, but it was mostly like standoffish, except for like that one year that you went where you got shown into the Force India garage. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
but ever since, I think it was more like standoffish and like the people did their thing. Now you can tell that, I don't know if it's because Liberty Media is actually pushing this, or like just them like getting like enthused about like the social media capabilities and now that they have, but the teams themselves. So you go to we went to the to this open track day that they do in Montreal, and basically you get to go like up and down the paddock and see where the teams are working. And whereas last year, like they just had the velvet rope and like you could see inside the garage and whatever, but you know, good luck trying to talk to anybody or like even get their attention. Now, like it seemed like a few of the teams had like a dedicated person just actually going up to like the fans that were in line and being like, hey, and if like say like a family with young children wanted to take a picture, they were more than accommodating. Williams was especially good at this.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to see, because yes, if they can make a story out of this now, if the sport all of a sudden like changes the face and like it seems as more approachable, I guarantee you 100% that's gonna reflect in sales, and more advertising for everybody. It just makes sense. Plain and common business, like know-how.
The more exposure, right? Because like coming from a time of Formula One that was always sort of like closed.
So closed.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't take pictures. Give me some money first,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, take a picture. Now it's like, no, fucking go do it. Because exposure is more important now than sort of exclusivity.
Especially now.
Right?
And
if you're into that, like seeing the drivers and stuff, the Thursday is a good day for that too.
yeah,
We saw
like
you know, you
4 or 5
you see them
drivers.
go out for their track walks, or you might see them just walking around in the garage behind the car.
And then there's people, there's people that
saw-
wait in line. There's actually an actual designated autograph signing booth.
We saw Charlie Whiting strutting around.
Yo, Charlie Whiting is like is a rock
strutting around
star.
like a gangster.
Yeah,
He was walking with his chest out, like,
wearing the
shoulders
like his
wide.
like cool sunglasses, and like everybody are like he has a whole posse that follows him around.
Yeah, there's a handful of people with him.
All right, the
Checking
people.
out the new orange.
So the people at Red Bull are probably gonna get, like, if anybody's listening from Red Bull, they're gonna get pissed at this. But we have a thing. So and this is the kind of insight. And again, we talked about this, and we love meeting people that when we go to Montreal, we love talking to people that have been there, like, or that have never been there, you know, because it's so awesome, the first experience.
Yeah.
And we're talking to these guys that came all the way down from Alaska, or one of them was from Alaska, right? Like those guys.
F1 Mario.
Yeah.
Let me grab his picture.
Yeah.
You think be all right with
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pull him up.
Yeah, sorry.
He actually.
You guys
sent
talk
us a
about it.
message.
I gotta find it. Hold on.
Yeah. But
So on the bus, they take you. They bring a bunch of city buses to the circuit for this track walk.
that's how they drop you off.
You line up and you
Yeah.
jump on one. You drive backwards around the circuit, and they drop you at the end of the pit, and you walk in. So yeah, as we were going around the lap, I was like, hey, check it out! That guy's got a laser scanner. It basically looks like a tripod with a big. There.
Okay, I'll get you guys can see in a second.
The F1 Mario.
Oh, that's not it. Where's here we go.
Basically, a
Sorry.
big tripod with a laser scanner on it. The guy standing there, and so when we got into the pit lane, we got to Red Bull, and I tapped one of the guys on the shoulders. I said, "Hey, you guys laser scan the like every circuit. You get a laser scanner out there? He said possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe. So
I feel like as he said that, he was like, I shouldn't be talking.
No. He,
yeah,
like
we might have been.
Like at first, like when you call him over, he had like this like complete like bored face, almost like, okay, these are just gonna be some fans asking some conventional questions, and like you threw him out for a loop. Like I don't think he was expecting like that question. Then when you asked him if they were 3D scanning, his face lit up, and that's what he was like, possibly.
Yeah, that guy wouldn't want his name being said.
No.
But the other guy, he was out in the middle of the circuit, laser scanning. So I saw him come by later. And I called him. I'm like, hey, I saw what you were doing. I saw you were doing what you're doing. And he's like, oh, you know that's a laser scanner. But he was walking down the pit with the thing over his shoulder.
He was like, da. Nobody knows what I'm doing.
He had the tripod over his shoulder with the scanner. Yeah. But yeah, it's clear what they do. They throw that data into their simulator. The drivers get a chance to practice on it, and at the same time they throw that into their simulation of the race that's based, I guess, for sure on their simulator, which is laser scan track data. So, yeah, so when the curbs change, obviously, I guess that must be what they do. You know, when they moved the wall this year, they moved a lot of the barriers and made some of the. Yeah. There's actually something I didn't notice till after the race. I read it somewhere. There's no more tire walls at all in Montreal.
Oh,
where they were up until last year. It's all Tech Pro now.
Yeah.
What's Tech Pro?
It's like those like plastic ones that are filled with water, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. See, they look sort of like a long Legos. Teardrop almost. They sort of like
interlock
fit together
like
so you can go around curves with them.
Okay.
Cool. They're all filled with water. Yeah.
So actually, just to reiterate, about your story, because I think you're like that was one of the most interesting things, or like that was super interesting.
One of the coolest things that I caught with my eyes.
On the bus, on the way down, like at the open track day, we saw a Red Bull guy just there 3D scanning the track.
Yeah.
We then went confirmed that that's what they were doing with people from Red Bull. We then ran into the guy and asked him, and he thought we didn't know what he was doing, but then eventually he figured out that we knew exactly what he was doing. He admitted that that's exactly what they did, and
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, not only did he admit, but he told us that Red Bull, as a team, so what they do is they basically go around, and as soon as they get to the track, they see what's changed. So what has changed since last year, and whatever's changed. We're talking about things probably like as insignificant to us as like, you know, a little like 2 millimeter, like
centimeter difference.
Yeah, here and there. Yeah, anything that changed, they go 3D scan it with like I don't know how much resolution, but that thing looked like it was like doing some like that thing was serious looking. All right.
The laser spins like this, and then it spins super slow and just keeps taking scans.
Jesus.
Together with that, at the same time that this guy was doing that, they also had another guy with a manual meter.
I forgot about that, but
measuring the track and like taking notes on like. Probably like even if a blade of glass or if a blade of grass wasn't pointing the right way, he probably wrote it down.
That's definitely different.
What he was doing when we saw him though was he was at the end of the first straight at corner 1 in Canada. He was at the end of the straight and he was measuring, and he was marking like where the braking points were and stuff. Because you see on the race. Well, this is what we were speculating. What I was thinking, you see like the 200, 150, 150 and the 50-meter boards. They probably go by there and see maybe it's 201 meters.
Yeah, not exactly.
151 meters, 99 meters, and 48 meters or something, right? They're not exactly. Then the driver knows, okay, I can go a little bit, like you think it's 100 meters. They're probably pretty close.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When they see those signs, do you think, because like I feel like I have a pretty good reaction time, but like, do you always think they can brake in the same manner that they do every time?
That's the whole challenge of being a driver.
I understand it. I mean, like, but at the same time, like, how accurate are these numbers?
Lewis Hamilton and actually like many drivers, even before. So those 100, 200, 150 meter boards, they're sort of standardized now. But even if you
steal one again this year,
even if you go back to drivers of the past that when they raced before all this was common practice, what you need is it's not so much. So the sign is there and it's very, very helpful,
right?
But apparently what you need as a driver is a marker, any marker,
Just
and
one thing that to be like, I remember this every time.
yes, and
Right.
so Lewis actually talks about, like, Lewis probably is one of like the really unconventional ones in this way, where like his markers could, like, for him it could be anything. Like he's talked about, like,
It's like a
you know,
tree branch.
or
it's,
he's like, man, like sometimes there's like a little chip in the pavement that you like, and then he's like then I remember that. But Lewis, like I said, that's what makes Lewis.
Right.
Other drivers like do use the markers, but back in the oldie timey days, yeah, then it used to be like, oh, like there's like especially around Spa where it was all forest, like apparently like some drivers like would use like a fox's burrow. Like, oh, it's like around this tree. Because around this tree, yeah, there's like
It's so cool. I use the fox's burrow with a brake.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, it's just about finding that marker that you can identify. Okay, here at this point, this is when I have to start applying the brakes.
Do you remember? I think it was maybe last year. Sky did a segment with Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
And they put a eyeball tracking camera on his on his helmet.
That was sweet.
And then he went for a few laps. I think it was in Silverstone.
Yeah.
And then so basically they had a camera on his eyeballs and tracked his movements along with the data of the car, like when he was accelerating and the times that he was braking and what meter board he was sitting at. And his eyes, like his reaction time is almost superhuman. You know, like when you play like Simon Says or whatever, like it's quicker. His reaction is just quicker than the average person. Average person is like 0.15
Whatever,
or 0.2
like
seconds average.
yeah.
Like the fastest you can like press a button when you see a light or just react to something really fast. And these guys are consistently like closer to 0.1. Just I don't know. Interesting. You can find that on YouTube for sure if you're interested. Just seeing his eyes, and they're just darting around, looking at the steering wheel, like because he's adjusting the steering wheel, like, coming up to this corner, looking at the apex,
looking at the mirror.
Check his mirrors, look down at the steering wheel again, check the steering wheel again. It's like
insane.
His eyes are constantly like.
Now this all came about like
back and forth.
Just to bring it back to Montreal. So this all came about when we were talking just now about access on the Thursday, and like really, I mean, that kind of stuff. The fact that we saw that happen with the Red Bull guy and then the other Red Bull guy, and then we asked him, this is the kind of access that unless you've gone to the track, so if you'd be tempted to stay at home and be a passive F1 fan that way, and you can probably be like a pretty decent F1 fan that way for your entire life, but unless you go to the track, you just don't get that kind of insight, and that's when you know, like, okay, so Red Bull, their operating budget for a year is what, like $400 million. That's why, because they have to pay for guys to go and do that at every fucking race circuit, and that's how you can tell like the big teams, and like what goes into this sport is insane. Well, I try to tell people, but honestly, like I sound like a crazy person when I'm trying to tell like all my friends like how crazy F1 is, because from the outset, if you've never even encountered something like that in real life, it sounds insane. Like.
You guys met my friend from high school. We just somehow bumped into him 3 separate times in Montreal just by chance. Like we didn't like call each other to meet up at those times. And but yeah, that was he watches every single race. But that was the first time he actually made it to Montreal, and
his mind was blown.
He convinced
his mind was blown apart.
Yeah, and he didn't go to the Friday.
He thought he knew everything he had to know about F1.
And as most people do, right?
Yeah.
And then we saw him on the Friday night. The first time we bumped into him on the Crescent Street, and then he was like, "Oh, like what is there to even see on Friday?" And so we went to the when we went to the practice.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like you missed the yeah. And then on the Saturday, they're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They're so fast.
Yeah.
And there's really something to say about like the engines too, right? Where they're so.
And the smells.
They're powerful, man. Like you guys were there when I first walked in, and I just had this shit fucking eating grin on my face. Like, holy, I don't even like cars, man. But I love that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The noise.
The smell, the atmosphere.
So fast.
Yeah.
You just feel that the braking, when the car's downshift, you just feel that in your chest when you stand beside the track. I wish you could have come to the V8s, and I wish that could come back someday, but it won't. It's not gonna.
I feel like almost in a weird sort of sense, like the success for Formula One, especially in Montreal in Canada, is really nice to have. But I feel like when you guys went like years and years ago, it was like this cool little club that happened once a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You showed up. You're like, fuck, you know what else is here? I get to do this all by myself. Yeah. That's so sick. Like, are they gonna do this for like 20 more years? Okay, yeah, no, I'm down. Keep them rolling.
The first one we went to, the last V8 race there, it was more like that for sure. It was more like that, but like it was so loud. Like I remember, like we were at the race, we're there like drinking beers and stuff, and I'd be like, Vettel's blah blah, just saying something, and you'd just be like, what? And you'd just like shrug, like you'd just look at each other and shrug and be like, whatever, this is awesome. you can't, well, you couldn't hear each other at all.
But to give everybody in the F1 world and like Liberty Media and like anybody, because a lot of people are getting into F1 right now. I just want to say something, because I don't think there's enough people that actually like put this other counterpoint. I like that, and I like the fact that I got to experience the V8s and the really loudness. But it's a spectacle in and of its own. And like yes, I would love to see at least one race or one aspect of the race to like be that. But
it's kind of scary.
It is it's definitely not and it's not family friendly. Like that's the thing. Like
it's not last weekend loud enough for me.
Yeah.
If it was any louder, I'd be uncomfortable. I'm like,
and
like concert volume.
Because you're never gonna hear it like at that volume when it's so loud. You're not gonna hear it, or I mean, not for too long. You're not gonna hear it with your own ears.
Yeah.
No. You're always gonna have to like buy earplugs.
You need earplugs.
You had to bring earplugs to the track.
The band that plays to Bury Strangers. I went to go see them. I wanted to see these guys for years. Check them out on YouTube or whatever.
Super loud.
They bill themselves as the loudest band on earth, and they live up to it, man.
And even then, they're not as loud as F1s.
Way more. I don't know, man. At my ears, I couldn't hear properly for 6 days.
Yeah, but that's because you were there with no headphones, but
no ear protection.
Or no ear protection. But listen, okay, back in when we went for the V8s, you had to, and it was not conducive for good conversation. You were there to like just soak it all in, and that was it, right? Like
as much as you feel the braking now, like a dun, 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 dun.
Oh, well, over there,
that was like
like somebody like actually like hitting you.
Actually, that much sound was
and
actually coming out of the cars,
and it's impressive. But the fact that we didn't have to wear ear protection all weekend, and we were there close to the action and seeing everything happen and appreciating certain things.
Was the F18s.
Well, but
yes,
that was good.
And okay, wait, just short diversion here. I was gonna tweet this, but I forgot. I think the Canadian government needs a rebate on this from the FOM, because I watched the pre-show of the race again when I got home. They cut out the fighter jets. The anthem finished, that long ass.
Yeah.
As soon as the anthem ended, they cut to commercials instantly. Totally, the fighter jets were not on TV. You know how much that cost? We saw them leave we were on the train the next day going home. We saw them leaving the airport.
Yeah, they're probably going back to
just by chance.
I was gonna say,
I don't know.
Halifax.
Peterborough? Maybe.
No, there's something closer to Belleville, isn't there?
There were two F-18s.
Kingston. Kingston is a big Air Force.
My tax dollars paid for those two F-18s to fly over the circuit, make a whole bunch of noise, look super cool. We did that whole minute of silence. That was off to the military might.
I love all that about, like, again, that's another like thing that you just have to experience at the event. It's so good because and I talk about this every year.
It's not an air show. It's
but they're there for the race.
It's showing it. This is what Canada's. This is Canada.
Yeah, this is why we're a country. We still have this kind of military power. Yeah, but
that's what it is.
but
all the races that do it, that's what they're doing.
Of course. But listen, it's like the CF-18s, which actually did a great job. Like before, like last year they only had one of them doing the vertical climb. This year, like they had like doing some spiral shit going on. That was sweet. And lots of noise. But it's that kind of stuff, and also seeing the FIA, like, and I say this every year, the FIA's because FIA scrutineering comes and like everything is kind of quiet, but like it's kind of priming you, and then the airplanes come on, and it reminds you that you're about to witness a world event. And that's we were sitting right beside these guys like that only showed up there for race day. Like they clearly had tickets for the whole weekend, but they only like got there for race day. And this one guy was like he was like, after that happened, he was like so like shocked. He was like, holy shit. And I was like, I turned around to him, I was like, right, like it like this is like yeah, it like it reminds you like, holy shit, it's about to happen, like it's happening. Like it's awesome.
It's like that first raindrop.
The real guys from TV. Drive like hundreds of millions.
And that spectacle too, right? Which was really interesting because what was it? Did they call it like a parade? Like when before the race starts and all the drivers in like their sort of flag cars, as it were, they go around and like
drivers parade. Yeah,
I think this was the first time I was like, man, this is really cool. Mostly because of our perspective, right? Because we had a great seat at the hairpin.
They stopped right in front of our seats.
Right in front of us. I have like all these videos I'm never gonna watch again, but yeah, it was really cool.
They stopped right in front of us. Yeah, most years before they've just gone, or all the years they've just gone by.
Yeah.
And a lot of circuits they just use that flatbed truck.
Yeah.
And then
that's right.
Somebody from
Sky or something
from
like
Sky
that.
FOM just stands there and be like, so how do you think you're gonna do today? And then they just like take their headphones off.
You know, I'll do okay.
You know, hope I'll do pretty good. You know.
I was feeling okay.
But yeah, that's what Jay was saying at the beginning, is that you could see that the drivers were embracing that for sure. You know what I mean? Like they had on the first corner to start it out, they had the French drivers there. Ocon and Grosjean were there speaking French to the people of Quebec. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're like, oh, you speak French.
Them
cool.
specifically. Yeah, and then when they came around, like Vettel was throwing autographed hats into the audience. Yeah, it was very different. The what else? The boat race. We didn't actually get to see it.
Oh yeah.
Because security said it wasn't happening. Whatever. It was supposed to happen, I think, at the other end of the rowing lake there, but for some reason it didn't, and they had it down by the paddock where you couldn't get. So I don't know. But next year we'll see that for sure. We went there to the circuit to see it. They told us, first of all, that cop told us we couldn't get back into the circuit for the boat race. I forgot my ticket, but we just walked past him and went back in anyway.
We went there to get abused. Yeah. Like, we showed up there
emotionally.
Yeah.
Physically.
Oh yeah.
But we met the Hispanic flat out Lewis Hamilton fans.
Oh yeah. Remember? From Costa Rica or something. No, from Dominican Republic. I don't know.
Well, no, weren't they from the islands?
Yeah, they were from one of the islands in the Pacific, in the Caribbean.
Like Barbados or like.
No, Barbados. No.
No, it's not the Bajans.
No, they spoke Spanish. I forgot. Anyway, they were team flat out. Team flat out.
Yeah. They weren't Grenadians, were they?
No, they don't
Like
speak
Lewis?
Spanish in Grenada.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure some people do.
Some
but-
people probably do.
Listen, it was a great event from beginning to end. The whole city. If you've never been to a Grand Prix, honestly, I want to put that. I want to put the Canadian Grand Prix out there for you. You'll have a lot of time. We met a guy that chose Canada to be his first Grand Prix, all the way from Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he came all the way from Australia. We interviewed. If you see one of our videos, the video that we took on Friday, I think. Thursday. On Thursday, because Friday was the Buxton meetup. So on Thursday, the video from Thursday, this guy tells us a story. Yeah, about
somehow he talked his way into the back of the paddock.
That was amazing.
He was just strolling through there like he belonged.
Hey, Yegor from the Canadian Grand Prix. He's in the chat right now. He says, "Hey, it's Yegor. The Canadian Grand Prix was very fun to watch. I feel bad for Vettel and Verstappen. However, Force India did really good. Could have done better if Checo and let Ocon go by. That is true. And we actually were looking at that.
For that.
Force India actually got super close to finishing ahead of both Ferrari.
Yeah.
What?
Amazing.
That was awesome. That was awesome to see. Hey, wait, have we even talked about the race at all, like, yet, or are we just like talking about like what happened?
Yeah,
around the
we haven't
race.
got there yet. The weekend was so great. It was amazing.
Yeah, we missed you out there, buddy. You should have come out to the Canadian Grand Prix. You would have had an amazing time. It was the most. It was we pretty much agreed at the end. So on our train ride back from Montreal, Monday morning, we were like, that was probably the best one.
by far,
The best one
so far.
Yeah.
The first one was the most unique.
Yeah.
That was the last V8 one. It was loud as hell. And like Mike put it perfectly. He said basically it was more like a smaller club, more guys.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was surprised. There was maybe 20% women at this race this year,
I was,
and
hey,
a lot of children,
how
a
do
lot
we-
more children.
How do we say this
than before.
in this day and age? I don't want to, I don't want, dude. I don't want to seem like I'm like one of those guys, but dude.
For whatever reason, it's
fucking-
historically
the
less women into
Yeah, but-
Formula One than.
But the turnout
the
this
average
year.
It was a great turnout. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Saturday we had grandstand seats this year at the hairpin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
qualifying was super fun.
Friday we saw from the start finish straight, and
Yeah,
I gotta tell you,
we
I
snuck in there.
yeah, we kind of snuck. Yeah, I guess
We're talking
it's
about practice one.
yeah. So for Friday, we're talking right now. We
We
kind
didn't
of
really sneak in.
we kind of no, we did. Two out of three.
Two at least. We had
Two out of
one
three of
ticket.
us.
We just kind of
We
put the two.
66% of
We,
us.
we put the other two tickets underneath, giving away the methods. Put the real grandstand one ticket, which was given to us graciously,
Thanks,
on
Luke.
top. Yes, and just walked in like we belonged there, and sat down.
Act like you belong.
Yeah, it was awesome.
No,
And that's where we met
That's how we met
Ferrari
F1.
Mario.
yeah, that's what I remember, like Mario. Yes, F1 Mario. They're right there, buddy. Costa from
Costa, yeah.
Costa. Hey, Costas, if you're listening, cheers, dude.
Cheers, man. Great to meet you guys. You guys
Yeah.
were fucking stand-up dudes.
Oh, actually, hey, hang on. Sorry. Just I know this is the tangent show. One thing that I wanted to talk about from before, when we were talking about like the 3D scanning the track, for anybody out there that was saying, "Oh my God, they reprofiled the Wall of Champions. The Wall of Champions is dead. The Wall of Champions is no more." The guy with the very high-tech 3D scanner told me to my face that the zero change. He said as far as
we
he could,
didn't rescan it.
yeah,
Yeah,
the zero change. It's not different.
yeah, it's still the Wall of Champions.
Yeah. Thank goodness for that, though, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
There's a lot more pavement around. That's one thing that we did see.
Yeah,
Can we
all
talk
the
about
grass
just
and
very, very
sand is
quickly
great.
insult those orange things? What were they
Th-
called?
those
The
sausage
bollards.
curbs.
Oh God!
The sausage
Pick a
curbs.
better color, man.
They've
Like,
been white until this year, forever. They've been white, and then they added the long skinny ones all the way around this year.
They just looked. I remember like getting on the bus for the track day on Thursday and being like, "What is going on here?" Like
Yeah, they're neon orange.
ugly. At least make them red or something like that.
Yeah, or the red and white, like the traditional, or black and white, like the traditional racing circuits. They're usually that. They don't need to be orange. They don't need to be orange.
No, you
The
can
drivers
pick a
can
better
they
color.
can see them.
Yeah. They're not dumb. Okay, they know how to go fast.
Maybe on a night track, maybe on a night circuit, use the orange ones. They don't need that orange though.
All right, okay, so we've got enough preamble about Montreal. The event was great. Honestly, if you've never been to a
the race
race,
was super
Montreal is a
cool.
great race to go to. It's back. It's back.
I shook Lance Stroll's hand after the race.
that was pretty cool.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah.
That was a great video. Oh, it's
Check
on
it
the
out.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, it's
Maybe
on the Instagram. Our most popular Instagram yet, I think. Check this out. This is a marble of tires. Feel out. You felt this after the race, right? Feel
It was
now.
pretty. It was pretty
Oh,
soft.
dude, that's-
Now it's
Yeah.
rock solid.
Feel this, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
cured for a week.
Yeah.
But like hours after the race, I was playing with this ball of tire marbles. I just picked up a bunch after the race. You can see it on the camera. But like hours after the race, this was still like gooey. Like you could squeeze this, but now it's like rock hard. Now my fingers are black from touching it, but it's kind of interesting. If you haven't touched or know what a F1 tire is like, obviously this is little bits of all three types mixed together. I don't know what's what, but it
Smells good.
it doesn't really smell like anything. There's a
No, it's-
little
No,
bit
yeah,
of
it smells like
There's a bit of tire
no, it
smell, but
smells
it's
like
not-
No, but it's not like it's not
not
like a rubber tire. There's clearly something else going on here. That's
kinda
some
plasticky.
some high tech trickery by Pirelli.
Yeah, it's some kind of like plasticiness, but
And now my hands are black.
yeah, a
Thanks,
little
Dan.
bit.
You know what it smells like? It smells like Lance Stroll's brakes. Speaking of Lance Stroll, hold on. Let's before we end Montreal, I think Danny got a great clip of
yeah.
this after the race.
You're right there.
Is this on the screen?
Jay and I were standing at the fence yelling, "Bring Lance! Bring Lance!"
It was me. I held him up.
Hey, touch-
Vive le Québec! Vive le Québec libre!
Drop the flag and give it a good old wave.
Full disclosure, it was the start of it was a bit staged. This part here, his cameraman, you can sort of see his elbow there on the right side. His cameraman was like, "Grab that kid's flag and wave it. Grab that kid's flag and wave it." Telling him.
Yeah, podium next year.
That was me. That was me. Podium next year. Okay, listen. That was that definitely made it. So if you guys don't
That
know,
was cool.
if you've and here's the thing, we also learned this like I guess the rough way. The first time that we went, we decided to come back to Toronto Sunday night because we were like, oh, what could possibly happen? We could come back to Toronto.
Yeah,
the
it
same
only
night.
took like 9 hours to get home.
Yeah. Dude, it was the worst. If you're gonna go to the Grand Prix, just do yourself a favor. Like take the Monday off.
Stay one more day.
Yeah, stay one more day. And also, if you do, then you can just, because what happens is, so after the event is over, like so after the Grand Prix is over, and they do this at every track, I guess, there's no more racing. That's the whole point. There's racing before it. There's all kinds of support series and whatever, but the F1 is the last race, the last event, obviously the most important, the headliner. And after that, so the F1 cars go by, and then FIA scrutineering comes by, make sure that nothing's left on the track. And after all those cars come by, then everybody that's at the track, like everybody that's working security, the marshals, anybody, they're just like, whoop, okay, everything is over. So what happens is, so people jump onto the track, not because they open some sort of, there's no marshal of ceremony saying like, okay,
Open the track.
spectators, open the track to the spectators. No.
Take charge of life, people. We
Yeah.
just grabbed the
Yeah.
bottom of the fence. I lifted it up as hard as I could. Then other people are like, "Oh, this guy's just lifting the fence." Join in. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we can all get under here." I was like, "Come on,
yeah,
people,
yeah.
let's go, let's go."
The-
People
It
help-
looked
people
it
help
looked
each
to
other.
me like a
People-
line of lemmings going through it, but it was awesome.
My favorite part about that instance that we're recalling right now is that like everyone was working together.
Yes.
It's like no, we're getting up.
We didn't
we're getting on the
even
track.
have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Everybody just sort of knew what to do.
One guy held it up. This
Yeah.
one
Grab the
guy went
fence,
in.
pull it under. All right, now you come. Somebody else grab the fence, pull it harder. Yeah, lift it up. And we all came through. We got
through the camera hole. Like there's no like designated hole. Everybody
yeah.
just filters in whatever hole there is into the track. It's awesome.
Great weekend.
And then you get to go and like do this because so Lance came out, but also Lewis. Every time that he wins in Canada, which is most of the time,
If not every time.
yeah, he comes back out and like he says hi to everybody. And so Lewis had a crowd, and he came out and like he shook hands with everybody, and he like signed everyone.
He sprayed champagne on everybody.
Yeah, it was amazing. Guys, come on, like
so
we're
good.
talking about this with Costa and with so buddy that came from Alaska. I think this is another thing that you also have to know. So once you go to the Grand Prix, you think you're just gonna go the 1 year and that's just gonna be it. You're just gonna go, be able to go back to and watch it on TV next year. No, you're gonna be aching. You're gonna be counting the
gonna be like,
days till you get to go to your next Grand Prix. That's what happens.
Calculating how much it's gonna cost to go to Montreal and do it again.
What kind of sacrifices do you have to put?
No,
Okay.
this is Formula One. I turned my phone off data. I did nothing but F1 for 5 days.
And it wasn't enough to
Oh,
keep me going.
Yeah,
Oh, this
it was
streets,
enough, but it was 5 days is perfect.
dude. Yeah.
That's fun.
Now, guys,
That's see if
wait. So, and like I was gonna say,
The mic's
enough
next.
preamble. Let's get to actually the race, the juicy part, like the actual race. How did we see it? How was it? To me, it was the kind of race that proved that F1 still like F1 2017 still got it. No matter like what they want to throw at the sport, no matter what like kind of gimmicky like shit that they want to throw in, even though there was no action right at the top, because there was plenty of action throughout.
Yeah.
That made it a very lively race to watch on TV apparently, but also especially at the track. F1 has right now nothing to envy from any other sport. It was amazing. The crowd was great. The on-track action was great, despite the fact that it was pretty static at the top. And I don't know, I couldn't, to me that was not necessarily like a classic F1 race in the true meaning of the word, like one that I would go back and watch.
One in there.
Sorry, that I watch again. But it's definitely like I said, like in the spirit of the era. This is F1 today. The fact that they can still put on a show regardless of what happens at any point in the grid.
Yeah.
It's still a super entertaining sport, and there were so many stories that came out of it. Now, we go over we go on and on about Lance Stroll, obviously, because we're Canadian and everything else, and we support the guy and we talk to him and whatever.
Yeah, sure.
We want him to do well, but the fact is that he did do a good job, and they did sort of focus on him, like getting his first points, but also up and down there were stories. The Force India,
They held on as long as they
that was
could.
a story in itself.
Jesus,
Stupid Perez.
in a very
Perez is all like, I follow team orders. I follow any team orders that are given to me.
Come on.
Except I don't.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't follow team requests though.
The poor start, but from the start of the Ferrari. So the night before the race, we actually hung out with journalist extraordinaire Michael Schmidt from Germany, and everybody agreed that, hey, it's gonna be Ferrari's race to lose tomorrow, and it wasn't. It was not by any chance. So the start was great. It produced classic
the straight safety car.
classic F1. This is why F1 is good.
The safety car start. I don't mind those sometimes. It gives you like a double start basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you a start, like a dead start and a rolling start. Oh, there he is.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know. And then Vettel coming all the way back, got tangled in that at the safety car incident. Got his front wing smashed, got it replaced, and pulled himself all the way back to the top. Pretty good.
Oh, neat.
It was sweet too to see animals on the track again this year.
Oh, yeah, they caught another gopher on the circuit.
Yeah.
We saw one on the bus the day before as well. When it went out.
Yeah.
On the Thursday bus ride around the circuit.
Now,
no seagulls, but
again we saw Valtteri Bottas. That is not faced at all by Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he's
like
not.
Lewis. Okay, clearly
The Finnish second row.
Listen, clearly Lewis is
Good for the Finns.
an incredible force in and of himself, right? And in Canada, he just seems to excel. He loves the track. It was where he won the first time, etc., etc., etc.
Was that his 6th win here now?
Yeah.
Sixth
So
win and
his
sixth
sixth win
pole.
And
Right?
sixth pole, yeah.
In Canada, yeah.
In
Canada.
yeah. So it's hard to argue with that kind of record.
Yeah.
But definitely Bottas was up there, man. He was like, he was maintained. He was driving his own race and whatever. But he did prove to Lewis that he was unshaken. Whereas I feel like if that had been Nico Rosberg last year, Nico would have gotten demoralized and ended up at the back of the grid. So I think that Bottas actually did a great job to finish second.
I saw this headline today about from Rosberg, and he's like defending himself like, it's okay. I know what Toto thinks of me. I know what Toto Wolff thinks of me.
That was at the after Toto Wolff basically came out and said,
Yeah, last week, a week ago. He was basically, he kind of threw Nico under the bus, I guess, in a way. He said that he was really the antagonizer last year in that whole Lewis Nico thing. That Toto said that he was the antagonizer. He was the pusher or whatever.
now,
But yeah, who knows?
People
maybe Lewis really is that nice of a guy that he just brushed it off. He let people think that he was the one. He didn't say it's not me or whatever. He didn't.
Yeah.
He just didn't say either way. Neither of them did though. So who knows?
Yeah.
Toto said it though.
Yeah.
Nico got an article out there to save face.
Of course.
And that actually
Nico
that article.
cares a lot about PR.
If you find that article, it ends with him saying, "And anyways," not that this is bad, but he said, and something like, "And anyways, last week I held a charity event for kids and we raised 600,000 euro."
So
there.
He's like,
so
there.
there you go. I don't need to think about raising. And then he also mentioned that he's like, I check the internet sometimes, but I just laugh at the comments. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much he's really laughing at them. If he goes, I don't know.
Anyway, so
who knows what parts of the internet he's reading comments from?
So the whole thing about the whole speculation about Vettel not being able to like make it past the Force India for a big chunk of the race is that he had his floor damaged after that collision at the beginning of the race. So yeah, there's definitely like some credit to that. Obviously, like that just again goes to show how aero dependent this formula is.
Yeah.
And especially at circuits like Canada.
More so than the last formula?
Oh, absolutely, because the cars are much wider.
Right.
And like even if you add like 1 centimeter width to the cars, that makes a huge difference in terms of the amount of. So
the wings weren't even as wide as the cars last year. Now they're as wide as the cars, and the cars are wider.
Yeah.
And you're like,
that's dirty air.
Bigger wing.
That's the whole thing. The whole dirty air thing. And
exactly
and so it turns out that right now the most efficient downforce that you can get. So you can get downforce through many different ways. You can get downforce by like adding like really sharp wings. You can get downforce by like making your car like basically look like a cone or whatever.
Right.
But one of the most efficient ways to get downforce right now is by like working like with your
size
rake
0.
and well size 0 too, but the rake of the car, right? Because the work that the underbody of the car does in terms of producing downforce, you can get a lot of downforce out of that without a lot of drag, and that's what's key, because what you're doing is basically like turning the bottom of your car into a vacuum that sucks your car to the ground, not by extracting any air that's not like that's already there out, but just by creating these different pressure zones, just simply by tilting the back of the car a little bit further up. Then you get a lot of aero benefit with not a lot of detriment out of that.
Right.
Now, so that's what a lot of teams are chasing right now, and we talked about it from the beginning of this year, how basically every team is running a really high rake this year. The problem with doing that is that if there's because to keep that high rake going, you have to develop the bottom of the car to be intricate.
To receive that.
Well, to be intricate enough to not let any of that air escape.
Right.
So if you do have a collision that damages the bottom of your car in a certain way, then you lose a lot. Because you know what I mean. Like if you're getting a lot of downforce from that point and then you lose it all, then you're gonna notice it.
Yeah, there was pictures of like the whole like front part of the floor missing from his car.
Now the counter argument that I've seen to that is that, well, where was Kimi? If that's true, then where was Kimi?
Yeah.
And I think that honestly, as much of a, I was wearing red all week. Well, Saturday and Sunday anyway. I was a Ferrari fan, Saturday and Sunday up in Montreal, and I love the fact that during qualifying they basically had the measure of everybody, and clearly this year's Ferrari car is a force to be reckoned with. But the fact that they were so weak, and then when they were weak, Kimi had no answer. I was kind of crossed by that. I was like, well, then we're going back to like, so there's reasons to love Kimi Räikkönen, like when he like puts on amazing performances, but sometimes he just kind of drops the ball, and like we're all left wondering like what happened. Yeah. So he had
still angry from Monaco.
Yeah, maybe, but wouldn't the best way to get back to his critics would be to just fucking when the opportunity
But the best way
presents
to get
itself,
back at his team would be to be like, yeah, I'm the second driver. Watch
yeah,
this. I'm
okay,
gonna
but-
finish right behind Vettel.
okay, right, but listen, man, I'm not even fucking,
I don't know. I don't know him, the guy, right?
Of course, yeah. I don't know the guy, and we don't know like what kind of like efforts he's putting in, but I get what you're saying. This is what I'm trying to talk about. Like, what use is it to be that petty? If that's what it was, what use is it to be that petty when you could just just look at the opportunity and go for it? And that's what kind of pisses me off about Kimi Räikkönen sometimes, man. It's like, yeah, you're a great driver. You're amazing for content. He's amazing for content. He's the best. But like, why do you go and do that when we know, like, people know that he could have just done a better job in Canada?
Then if it's not the driver that's at fault, then the next thing it would make me think about is either Ferrari fucked up or Mercedes got better. That's my next logical reasoning to what happened in Montreal.
No, I think what happened is, and we'll see this. We'll see whether or not I'm right in like 4 or 5 races time. I think that Mercedes weren't planning on using like the full beans on this engine that they gave Lewis until much later, until not even the next race, not Baku, but I'm talking about like maybe Silverstone, Austria. But Ferrari have effectively put them in a position where they have to crank everything up way sooner than they thought. Now, this is in light, and I'm not just going by this weekend. I'm looking at historical analysis of what Ferrari have done. So remember at the beginning of the year, we were talking about how Ferrari have been like kind of blowing through parts. Remember? Everybody was saying this. The first few races, Ferrari was like, another turbo, another this, another that, another that, another that.
I think Vettel's on his 5th turbo.
I think that they're doing that in a very calculated fashion, and this Matteo Binotto, and this is what I wanted to clear with Michael Schmidt when we talked to him. Remember, like I asked him specifically, one of the first things, Matteo Binotto, what do you think about this guy? And no, yeah, he's a smart guy. I think that's what he's doing. He's actually like playing that game with Mercedes, where he's by intentionally overperforming a Ferrari. He's now putting Mercedes in a situation where they have to overperform past what they thought, and that's going to screw up their program towards the end of the season. Mark my words.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense that they start off brand new, and then maybe go back to the first one and run it all the way down.
Yeah.
And then they still have 4 more that are almost brand new, and then by the time they get to the 3rd level of that, Mercedes, if they don't change their plan, then they've used 2 or 3 full parts
that they weren't expecting. They might have just thought like, oh, we'll do it.
They might have planned to that. They thought the other teams would do the same thing, but then Ferrari's still got 3 more parts that are only done 1 race.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Mercedes is down to 2 brand new ones, but they have to do a bunch of races, maybe 6 or 8 races with.
It may just be that Matteo Binotto is playing 4-dimension chess right here.
4D chess. And it could work out for them.
Time and space.
And for sure, like, stuff is going to fail. Even if you only look at Ferrari and Mercedes, that's 4 cars, and stuff's gonna fail. 4 cars with 5 different parts and multiple parts of each. Stuff's gonna fail, and they're gonna take penalties anyways.
Yeah.
So the plan can always get chinks in it that way.
Yeah, but it's great that they're throwing Mercedes that off balance, because they are.
It's totally different approach. For sure.
Toto Wolff is saying like off-color comments on the radio, whereas before it was like he was like the calmness, like people were, oh Toto, like aren't you getting tired of winning? He was like, now he's like, no, we have to work hard and we gotta try. I'm gonna shit talk about my previous driver.
Did you see? Did either of you guys watch the pre-show from Montreal?
No.
So Toto Wolff said that they had, since the end of Monaco, they had 3 shifts running 24/7 for 10 days straight to work out the best setup for Montreal, and that's where they got their edge from. They had 3 shifts go 24/7 for 3 days of engineering
So it's
to figure out the setup for the car.
So it's a war of attrition. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. They spent
We're
some
talking about
money on this.
military strategy here. You're
Yeah.
making them spend resources now, so that who knows where they're gonna be at the end of the year. It's just
Now when they say that, like
F1 in 2017,
the best
it's so
way
great.
to handle Montreal, as in like the style of track it is, or like the more accurate version of it, like try to get every corner the best they can, or is it more of like a general idea?
I think,
Montreal's a special track. Danny, take us through it.
yeah, Montreal is special. Well, we talked a lot about Montreal, but Montreal is one of the highest power tracks. Really, you know what I mean? Like
There's a lot of
there's a lot
straightaways,
of all big straightaways where you just put the gas down,
and then you
And
brake.
then followed by
brake hard.
heavy braking.
braking.
Heavy
Right.
braking.
There's a bunch of chicanes on it.
I don't know if
the
you
5, 6, 7, and then
Yeah.
the big chicane after that, and then the hairpin,
Right.
and then the wall of champions is another.
Yeah.
You brake hard, and you brake hard to the first corner.
And I don't know if you remember, so we were at the hairpin,
Yeah.
and I tried to like keep pointing this out during practice, but what you saw is people's brakes smoking.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
as
it's
they
like-
came out,
Yeah.
like
See
their
black-
brakes were
black dust.
smoking,
You can see it a
man.
lot on TV this year.
Yeah.
'Cause the brakes are bigger than before, but
Yeah.
if you see they're just like black smoke, like a old steam train,
Yeah.
like old coal train, comes out of the sides of all 4 brakes at a lot of corners. But you know what, like going into the next race, Baku. Now it's a F1 circuit for the next 4 more years, I think, at least 5, right? They did 5
Yeah,
years, I
yeah,
think?
they have a deal.
4
like,
4 more years.
I mean, it's still the
It's
same deal from before. They
kind
haven't
of a
renewed it,
similar-
but yeah.
kind of a similar type of circuit. There's a lot of 90-degree corners. They go up through that old. It's going to be interesting with the fat cars this year through the skinny corner up through the old city wall,
Right.
which is like
Right.
700 to 1200 years old. That
Yeah.
wall, it's amazing. It's very cool.
400.
Oh, I got a story about that.
No, it's from the
about
1200s.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
12th century.
Yeah.
It was finished in the 12th
Your
century.
Uber driver was from Baku.
Yeah. So this was funny enough. I think I was going to one of the races at Betty's, and he was my driver, and he's from Baku, and he was like, he loved Formula One, but he hated having Formula One in his city because the city was so like in like a state of turmoil, essentially, right? There's like a very like high class, lower class, like
Well, yeah.
The average person doesn't-
Azerbaijan
don't
is
just
right now, like, yeah, they're
not
going
in a
through
good
some
spot
trouble.
for them.
Yeah.
And he was like really upset that this was happening to his country that he loved very clearly. But he was into Formula One before he was even in his city. And when he found out it was coming to his city, he was like, yeah, that's great.
But
I'm in Canada now, so fuck. So yeah, he's a little pissed just because like it's not good for the lower class of his city because it's just all the rich people that go, right? And now that was the story. I think he was a Ferrari fan, which doesn't surprise me. Everyone is. Everyone
do,
is.
do you have Skype going on there?
Ooh,
we might
have to install it.
Okay,
I
okay.
might-
We'll give you a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. Danny, talk for a second.
Yeah, Baku is kind of similar to Montreal like that, with the tons of power and a lot of 90-degree corners. And do you remember last year what? I can't remember the exact name, but there's some sort of weird physical phenomenon was happening down the front straight because it's so long. I think the longest now, and that the downforce and vortices coming off of the cars were causing some sort of resonance in the air that was screwing with the aerodynamics of the cars that were following other cars.
It was
And
like they seemed like they were.
Not more than dirty air. It was they were saying that it was like going through waves or something.
Yeah.
Like waves of air were reverberating around the cars. And this year is going to be a lot more downforce down the same circuit. So
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that.
It's always
It's
a cool thing to see in Baku because it's got that mix, right, of the long straight combined with the really tight corners,
short
really.
bursts, like.
And what we saw last year was a lot of drivers being cautious.
Mhm.
So if anything, like this is one thing that we've been saying since, that we know that these guys, especially the ones that have raced there before, are gonna be like just really like now we're gonna see them finding the limit. You know who we're not gonna see finding the limit and probably crash? We have to say it. We couldn't be on you know what I mean? We have to say what, you know.
You guys talking about Lance, right?
Yep.
I hope he's on the PlayStation right now.
Yeah, I hope he's not
Please.
listening to it. No, if anybody in Williams is listening to us right now, you know what we're talking about. We're not saying that he's not ever going to be able to be great there. He might.
Of course not.
But he does have a bit of a history of like the tracks that he goes to the first time, like, and especially if they're like tight and twisty, like that's he tends to like test the limits of his
very long circuit too.
Yeah, yes, and long circuit.
And the narrow one of the longest and the narrowest and the longest straight and the most 90-degree corners for sure. But it's almost all it's all walls.
Yeah,
the whole thing is walls. Street circuit. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the second one more than the first one.
Do you think it will welcome all of us?
I think they've brushed up on their English grammar.
I hope so. Welcomed is actually a word if you look it up, though.
Of course it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Just
It
the
just
wrong
sounds
tense
funny.
and context,
Yeah.
context there.
Okay. So yeah, before we move, it completely fully like past
Off
the
of
Canadian,
Montreal.
off of the Montreal. Great result for Mercedes, obviously. Great result for Force India. They're definitely like they're in it to fight it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, I
result
want to see them
for
fighting. They're
Lance.
gonna be fighting Red Bull constantly now.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Again, yes. Red Bull. That's where I wanted to get. The one thing that we didn't touch is just how poorly Red Bull did.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Max, just his car just blew up.
I mean, even though your boy
Yeah.
did make it to the podium.
Second race in a row, third race in a
Yeah,
row.
yeah, yeah. But still, it was
It was
in
clearly
lieu of the other situations
yeah.
that were happening. Like
had the other guys, you know.
if Vettel hadn't had
every-
the floor problem, et cetera, et cetera.
That's the thing.
That's
like,
sport. That's sport.
that's the
Yeah.
sport, right?
But we know.
Yeah,
but we
it's
can
so
see.
he was there
But
to
we can
collect those
see what
points.
happened,
Yeah.
and he knows what happened. He
Yeah.
knows. He came out of the race and he wasn't like super happy. He was like, yeah, there's a podium, but still, like
Yeah.
he's like we're not where we should be.
Yeah, and then he said, they were forced into a long game where he just had to defend and keep and just hold his position. Well, he did that. He did what he had to do. He
Like,
stayed on the position.
Verstappen though,
Ricciardo.
if his engine hadn't gone, well, the way that Renault engines do,
Yeah.
we were like it's possible that we could have seen him on the podium. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
still, right?
No more major engine updates coming this year. Those are the words of Renault
Yeah,
for 2017. They're
Yeah.
gonna put all their money into next year.
because
With their car, I guess.
So-
Obviously, they're going for their big push next.
so
year.
Red Bull is looking at
They're looking at Alonso.
well,
Sorry, Renault. Sorry.
yeah, Renault is.
Renault.
But Red Bull is looking at a year of like another like few more disappointments. Honestly, like this is probably gonna be like this and like the tight twisty circus to Singapore and whatever that are coming up might be their only chances to get like any decent points, any decent podiums this year, which is sad to see because I want to
Yeah.
see Red Bull being a good competitor because if we have a two-way fight right now at the top, why don't we have a
Why
three-way?
don't we- just invite all the other teams. Let's get 4 going up there. Hey,
Absolutely.
Force India, maybe they can do it.
Yeah.
One or two more years. It's possible. Vijay Mallya doesn't go to jail.
Well,
He's got a second extradition hearing coming up.
oh yeah, so those are the news
They
from
last like 2 weeks or something. It's gonna be a big deal. India has requested a second time of the United Kingdom to send this guy home. He borrowed billions of dollars and defaulted on all of the interest. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's in big trouble in the long term.
Oh yeah. Well,
think
he's
so.
he's. I think Britain is considering extraditing him.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to. 'Cause he's basically hiding there from one of the biggest countries on earth, who took billions of dollars and screwed around with from. You know what I mean? He's that slicked hair, that rooster hair.
Another thing that okay, so remember, yeah, I wish I had asked Herr Schmidt a little bit more about Vijay Mallya and
About
Vijay Mallya's case and whatever. I know that Vijay will probably like find like a slippery way to like go around and get around it or whatever. But another interesting story that I seen circulating recently is the possible association of I know this might be like completely in a different direction, but of Sauber and Alfa Romeo.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I saw the headline. But yeah, we've heard rumors of Alfa Romeo coming back into Formula One for a while now. Since we talked to Reed Bigland 2 years ago,
Yeah. So
a year and a half ago.
this actually McLaren. No, I'm sorry, I said Sauber. I mean McLaren joining Alfa Romeo to get basically it would be rebranded Ferrari engines the same way that Red Bull is doing with calling their engines Tag Heuer.
Yeah.
So McLaren,
But yeah, Alpha's got a bunch of. They tested out the market and people bought a whole bunch of those Julias, and now they're coming out with a bunch more models to sell. Right? People like that.
well,
The new Alphas.
remember when we actually talked to Reed Bigland of Alfa Romeo, and you kind of tried to bring this up, and he got a chuckle in his head, how it's a reusable platform. Like once you get the Giulia, you can get it's a chassis that they can bolt on all kinds of different specs to it. And he kind of didn't want to talk about that, but it's true. It's like that. That's what it's gonna be. It's like once they get one figured out, it can turn into an SUV. It can turn into a station wagon. You can turn it into anything they fucking want.
Yeah, everyone thought Porsche was crazy a few years ago when they brought out the Porsche SUV, that Cayenne thing, and now they're everywhere.
And now if what they're trying to do is to push their luxury brand their luxury brand Alfa Romeo is in the same way I guess that Mercedes is. So that they're luxury, but sort of in the horizon affordable luxury.
Yeah, they're not exotic.
Yes,
it's not an exotic vehicle.
Right, exactly. And I think that brand,
but it is a little exotic. It's exotic for now.
Exotic
kind of, because there's not many of them on the road yet.
Yeah. So
but most people don't know that Alpha's about to drop 4 more models probably, and just flood the market with cool Alphas, right?
Sorry, what would you say?
Skype's good to go.
Okay. You want to keep an eye on the Skype there. I think Evan is trying to. We might have a guest yet this episode.
I saw that.
But what we're talking about now is now bringing McLaren to have a partnership with Alfa Romeo. Basically it would be a partnership with Ferrari via the Alfa Romeo brand. Now this is, if we think about how F1 was 10 years ago versus now, this would have never been a thing.
No, this is all corporatized.
You know what was happening 10 years ago?
Putting stickers on things.
Well, but you know what was happening 10 years ago? 10 years was when the whole Spygate thing came out. When Alonso was again at McLaren, but the whole spying scandal in between McLaren and Ferrari that McLaren got fined $100 million for. Because they actually did obtain some secret documents for Ferrari, and Luca de Montezemolo was livid and he would not talk to Ron Dennis or whatever. Yeah, this kind of stuff. So back in the day, 10 years ago, a partnership even remotely close in between Ferrari and McLaren would have been unthinkable by every single measure. But the fact that they're considering these things now, even if they have to rebrand it as Alfa Romeo, it only makes sense. McLaren isn't happy.
I wouldn't say it only makes sense.
Well,
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
But McLaren isn't happy with Honda, and what we saw this year, and everybody could see him or hear it. Even everybody could hear it. We went to Montreal. We were standing right by there by the track, and all the cars sounded beautiful except for that McLaren. And everybody could tell, and you could hear it. Yeah. But 3 years ago, we thought it was gonna get better. 3 years ago, it was just as bad, and we were like, okay, give him another year.
We were making fun of this since the start of we started doing this podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes a disgusting guttural sound. I don't know. It's not all the other cars. They all sound distinct. You can definitely tell the difference. They all have a smooth sound, they're screaming,
okay,
just pure power. But I want the difference the sound that car makes is huge, and it's horrible. And I saw another rumor today, which has got to be off the back of that one, and just pure rumor.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that one is as much a rumor as people might think, because it's been floating around for more than a year now. But that Williams might be partnering with Honda as their their team, their big partner team next year, with the Sauber as their secondary team. But I don't know. I think people are just clinging to that because historically they had that whole big thing together.
Toto Wolff still with his deep associations between Williams and Mercedes. I don't think the situation in terms of engines is going to change much with Williams.
Yeah, exactly. The Valtteri thing, the Mercedes being the best engine still thing, or at least as far as anyone knows is so far. Like, why Williams would not give that up for unless they're getting the Honda engines for free, then I'm sure they'd think about it.
Yeah.
And then I think,
but
Lawrence
you
Stroll,
though?
then Lawrence Stroll would be like, okay,
Exactly.
guys, come on, man, like, no, yeah, you take a free Honda engine or pay for the Mercedes, the best one. You pay for or you get the worst one for free.
Here's the thing:
when you're trying to win a world, you're the number 4 team. You don't take. Maybe Sauber would take some Honda engines for free.
Let's decompose that for a second. So, the thing is that the price of taking a subpar engine might actually not even make sense, even if they throw you money, even if they pay you, because even
that's
at
what
the
I'm
end,
saying.
At the end of the
Sauber,
day,
it makes sense because they're trying to they just got some big backing, big sort of recovery funding. Yeah, no rings yet.
No, there's a message there.
But yeah, with the Tetra Pak people, Sauber just got a huge amount of money. They locked down a contract. But we've been through this whole thing before about how Ericsson is a bigger part of the team than anybody would imagine.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch going on at Sauber, and who knows? They'll probably be. Hope that their plan is to really make noise in the midfield. I'm sure in the next 2 or 3 years, but I don't give me half right there. I don't think we're gonna see Williams with a Honda engine. Don't believe that. No.
Yeah, Mike, let us know when all that's sorted. But
yeah, we should be good.
And until then, let him know as well, I guess. And so for behind the scenes, like I said, I don't know. We're just getting ready for a guest that's about to join us right now. So just hang on tight.
Want you explain who he is?
Should we do an
I guess
introduction?
we should let him introduce himself.
No, but so this whole deal, McLaren going Alfa Romeo, I'll give it a likeliness of happening right now at about a 6 out of 10.
That one kind of makes sense.
I said 6 out of 10.
Yeah, because like a year and a half ago we heard
Williams with Honda.
That's why we wanted to
Not
talk to
a
Alfa
chance.
Romeo, right?
Not a chance, Williams to Honda.
No. Yeah, so that's like a 1 out of 10. There's a slight chance they have it. There's historical value there,
Right.
But like Honda would have to start again.
Do I have any less hopes in Honda? No, I think Honda will eventually like figure things out, but just not quick enough for most people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not helping them anywhere.
I don't think they're gonna pull out of the sport, like, if they keep failing.
How can they
Oh,
that would be such big news because that would be like in the front of business papers. That might be because they'd be like, one of the world's biggest car makers backs out a racing series after investing $2 billion or something.
At the same time that Mercedes is doing
How many
great in
hundreds
it.
of millions did Honda spend?
But it would be less of a story
There's
if
no
nobody
saving
was doing that good of a job at F1. But the fact that Mercedes is that
Mercedes,
makes it even worse. And
Ferrari. And Renault's right there too.
Yeah.
Their engines are a bit cheaper, but it's not like. But Renault has a clear. They're not putting. I don't know. I think they have a clear way forward, and we're going to see Renault back at the top next year. They're going to be competing. This engine's still got 3 more years in it. There's more than half a year of this season left, and 2 more full seasons at least with these engines, and 2020. So we go 3.5 years. Yeah, at least. And then depending on how soon they decide on a new engine and what they want it to be, et cetera, et cetera.
20 minutes.
I don't think Liberty's going to slip, but there's a chance of even an extra year where they'll just say, let's just keep it for 1 more year till we decide. I don't think that'll happen. Liberty wants something new, but it's not changing till 2020.
Yeah.
So Renault's got time to make a comeback. You can only extract so much power out of the engine anyway, so they're going to even out. It's going to be better. It's going to be only get more badass in the next 3 years, the competition.
If
Honda doesn't drop.
Yeah, if Honda doesn't drop.
Oh, they're going to be so embarrassed in 2020 if they're in last place still. They gotta move up at least one spot before the next engine comes out, right?
And
Before
listen, here's the thing.
and then if they even do that and then quit before they have to be in this for the long term.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It
Well-
looks horrible for them too.
But here's the thing with engineering and like with this kind of stuff is that, look at the turnaround that Ferrari had this year. Remember
They put their heads down.
like before last year, before this year, last year at the end of last year we were like, there's no way that Ferrari's gonna be able to like bounce back, etc., etc. Now we look at them.
They always say they will, right? But they seem like they
totally
really
did
had
this
something
year.
up their sleeve, and they said that they
No,
stopped
they
trying like
didn't.
6 races before the end. They're like, they stopped doing any.
True, but nobody had any confidence in them to like actually like fully bounce back the way that they did.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Ferrari actually came back and had a decent car this year is an incredible story. We take it for granted, but at the beginning of the year, everybody was freaking out because nobody was expecting that to happen. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, that was the whole story. Now, I'm
everything-
not saying that something that couldn't happen to Honda and they couldn't just all of a sudden overnight, like over even a year, get their shit together. That could still happen, but it's just, Jesus Christ, they're taking their fucking time, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They really are. I don't know. And as far as their road cars, you see the oldest, rustiest cars on the road is all Hondas because they last forever.
Yeah.
They're always.
I was gonna say Toyota, but
Toyota as well.
Yeah, them too. But they
They're not in
last.
Formula
their
One.
They
cars are
also
forever.
dropped out of Formula One.
Yeah, they used to be in there too, but
Jensen Button drove for them.
it's just like
Honda.
Honda being in Indy, like they compete there, right? They know how to make a race engine. And
Mhm.
another series, they make engines as well. That Alonso's engine blowing up at the Indy, at least for any, I think all the Indy fans that.
They were like, oh,
90% of the people that were watching that race anyways were like, oh, whatever, just another engine blew up. It's either going to be Honda or Chevy.
Yeah.
And a bunch of engines blew up in that race anyways. To them, it's just like, all right, whatever. They don't know the whole story about maybe what Honda's been doing in F1. But all the F1 fans that watched that race,
We're like,
they're
yeah.
like, oh my God, what?
would they ever split Honda and McLaren?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, sorry, I was.
Yeah,
doing,
You're talking
doing
about
things.
Indy?
You're
No,
talking about
no,
Formula
no.
One.
Yeah. We're talking about like
Yeah.
McLaren actually going and getting a Ferrari engine via Alfa Romeo.
Romeo.
There won't ever be a Ferrari McLaren. That would not happen.
That
Like,
It just sounds,
yeah.
especially because McLaren is growing now so fast with road cars too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they compete in the exact same sector
That's
as
exactly
well
it.
with exotic cars. Both
Yeah.
of those, you're gonna spend whichever model, $150,000 to $500,000 for
Yeah.
the low end to the high end Ferrari or the McLarens.
Yeah.
It's
So
it's not possible for the McLaren Ferrari to ever race on F1.
yeah,
But-
but I'm a
Alpha
McLaren,
Power.
an Alfa Romeo McLaren or a McLaren Alfa Romeo, that I can see happening because in the real world, out there in the car market, those brands actually don't intersect a lot. They're not actually direct competitors. So to have them as
Like
And then
So,
Honda
yeah,
would
the
just be on
Alphas-
their own.
no, Honda might find a suitable home. Well, it's gonna have Sauber and somebody else, whoever this new F1 team is gonna be. Have you guys heard about this? Did you hear about this? Have you read about this?
A little bit.
Oh yeah.
You sound
I saw-
excited.
I saw the Sunday after, or maybe it was the Monday after the Montreal race. There was some little rumors about it. Apparently, actually Ted said it. Ted said it, and then I read a little bit about it. That a team has put in a full application.
Yeah, and they're
with
not
the
even.
FIA.
So here's what actually is interesting about that is that they're not even going after the Marussia entry. So you know how like one of the last things.
Yeah, that's what Ted said too. It doesn't actually make sense that they didn't, but at the same time, most of that equipment that Marussia auctioned off. Actually, we looked at a bunch of that on the podcast, the auction website. A bunch of the equipment that they auctioned off would just be more or less obsolete now, right? If you're gonna, if you're gonna start an F1 team and you plan to compete unless you want to like build up for years and stuff, you have to buy new stuff now. The speed, the resolution, like look at Haas. That's their advantage. Is they're a machining company. They can make
Yes.
make
They
the
make
most
their own wheel
accurate,
hubs.
the best, most accurate parts.
Yeah.
Of any team, I guess. they're one of the world leaders in CNC machines.
Well, not only that,
Outside
just
of
okay.
racing, right?
Let's think about this for a second. If anybody has,
The steps that they have to
Well-
take to obtain the technology and build it is.
well, let me just give one insight in this. Remember that
Yeah.
video that Red Bull put out last year where they tracked the lifetime of a single bolt from like
yeah.
the design phase or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you have to think that we're talking about the bolt level. F1 cars, they're not. It's not just. They don't just get custom suspension like the
At
big.
bolt, you're like
the big-
the thread,
it's-
how
yeah,
many
exactly.
side faces,
Yeah,
how many
it's-
faces between the faces, and how round is it? Or
Like is it one of is it gonna be one of those like with the sharp edges or the round edges or
rounded
like the completely flat
is it
edges?
flat? How thick
Yeah.
is it? How tall is it?
Yeah.
What metal is it made of?
Yes, we're talking about that's the kind of precision
Jesus.
that F1
Every
teams
part
deal
has to
with.
be dealt with
And-
according- like,
Yeah, and if you already own like if you're starting from a point where you have the machining tools and that costs you nothing, that's what costs a lot of teams a lot of money. So in that sense, Haas doesn't have to have a huge ass budget because they can machine a lot of the shit themselves. The fact that they don't go out and buy wheel hubs from anybody else and just make them,
Yeah.
no other team does that.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
kind of-
neat.
that's fucking brilliant,
Yeah.
if anything.
Yeah. So I mean, there is something to be said about the way that it has approached getting into F1. It honestly, like for them, it makes sense.
do you have anything more specific since last week though about this new team?
Yes.
you
Okay.
see-
Well, so
I
here
haven't seen
he
any
yes.
further
Yeah.
rumor
So
than
here.
a team has applied and they didn't buy the Marussia stock.
Right. So they
The
didn't buy the
old
Marussia
equipment.
stock. It's just gonna be a brand new entrant into Formula One.
Yeah.
Now this is obviously contingent to a lot of things, but it's actually looking like it's gonna be a North American team. Now,
Yeah.
we're talking about an entrant from either the old consortium that could be led, and this is just rumors at this point, by the guy that has nothing to do with the Circuit of the Americans anymore, but he actually kind of started the whole like at the beginning when the Circuit of the Americas, the U.S. Grand Prix got going, when the return to Texas got or the return to the U.S. got going, he was involved in the beginning. So this could just be an American investor that's rallying a bunch of people. But most interestingly, what I find from all this is that they're actually gonna be like looking at doing another one of these deals where they might partner up with Dallara again, with other like just outsource as much as they can, but North American investors actually in their cadre might include Canada, might include, and this is what I like, this is just again hearsay, but might include Lawrence Stroll. So it might be like this, for all we know, could be a Canadian team.
And it might look.
Hey,
It looks like that
hey,
Lance Stroll will have
hey.
a job in 2018.
Maybe that's the rumor that Williams, which is Williams kind of is Lawrence Stroll right now a little bit, is gonna drive the Honda engine.
Hey, now we're just going complete. Like,
That makes more sense though. They give Lance the Honda engines to screw around in for a year or two, get his bearings.
obviously, this is
and
all
then
speculation.
Start kicking ass, right?
And I've also seen that like apparently
of
like
them.
it could be like another just joint investment group led by Julian Palmer's dad as well. So, I mean, I guess just rumors are just going up and down now.
Yeah, because Jolene's seat is looking shaky too.
Okay, actually, you know what? After the Canadian Grand Prix, I think we finally were vindicated because all the stories that I saw about Julian Palmer after the Canadian Grand Prix was basically like, all right, it's time to stop giving this guy any more chances. It was basically all right. I guess he actually sucks on his own merits. It's like we've been saying it
We've
forever.
been saying it for
Yeah,
since last year.
we've been saying it forever.
Who was he on last year? He was not Renault. Renault still.
Yeah.
The old, which was Lotus.
Oh,
or whatever,
Lotus.
right?
Right.
Or whatever. No, it was
No, it was
it was Renault last year, but he was a Boro. He was kind of like he was there from the Lotus days. He started in Lotus, then Lotus became Renault, and they kept him, and that was the whole thing. We thought, oh, they're just keeping him because they have nothing else to do, and they had to like buy the team in a rush. But the fact that he came back to F1 this year was questionable, and it was questionable to us, except it wasn't questionable for Crofty.
Until we started hearing the rumors that Renault might be looking at pulling Alonso in.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. What's up with that?
I don't know.
Wait, can I just say one thing before we start?
Yeah.
And this is a point of pride. Lance Stroll has more points than Julian Palmer.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he does.
He's got 2 points.
Yes,
Good
he
for him.
does.
Jolene's got nothing.
What a awful name.
Yeah,
Julian.
It's kind of a cool name, but the problem is that no one says Jolyon. Everyone says Jolene.
Julian.
He gets Jolene a lot. He gets Jolene
I don't
a lot.
I don't know if he
Jolyon?
does.
He really does. It's Jolyon, but
Jolyon?
people like when you hear it on TV, it's Jolene a lot.
Jolene. Oh yeah, Jolene Palmer.
Jolyon's
Jolene
a kind of a
Palmer.
cool
Jolene
name.
Palmer. It's supposed to
I think it's
be.
pretty cool.
It's supposed to
like
be a variation on the Roman Julian.
Mm.
I looked this up. I'm into etymology. I'm not afraid.
No, I love that stuff. Yeah, it sounds more like I don't know, like the cave people type of old like Celtic type of name.
Like that.
What did you just say?
Julian. Okay. So yeah, Julian Palmer sucks. We knew that. Everybody, like you know that. I know that. Everybody knows that.
But
So-
yeah, Renault said from the times that Abitibu was on every single press conference 2 years ago that we're playing this the long game. Renault's back in this. We're looking at a 2
Yeah,
or
but
3 year
they
plan.
also had Freddie Vasseur, who's not there anymore, and he's not there anymore, presumably because apparently, Buddy Cyril Abiteboul is just a pain in the ass to work with.
He seems that way, but he's getting stuff done. He's like, listen, we got
How?
a 2 or 3 year plan.
How I think he just seems like he is getting things done.
We gotta see now. We'll see now. We gotta see now. It's hard now to speculate because they just said they're not gonna update. They were pushing this story about we're bringing this huge engine update to Canada. It's gonna be amazing. And Red Bull's like, yeah, we're just waiting for this engine update at Canada, and we'll show what our car can really do.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying at the start of the season. They brought it, whatever. And actually, I think they brought it in Monaco, didn't they? They brought it.
Yes.
Yeah. They brought it.
Well,
they brought-
actually, they brought some parts, but they're saying that like the real update we won't see till Silverstone.
Yeah, and then they said now they're saying they're not, whether or not they're still bringing that one, they're not doing anything else this year. So now they're playing the super long game. So now they have an excuse for anything, and we have to wait until next year to see if they're.
Well, here's the thing
really
about
have
here's the
anything
thing
up
about
their
Renault.
sleeves or not.
If they don't perform next year, you're gonna find that not a lot of people
Wear Renault hats anymore.
Well, no, in terms of their stockholder meetings and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, Renault in a way though, and this is kind of why they pulled out of the sport the last time, is because their governance structure, and you have to think about it, so just let me walk you through this. So their governance structure is a lot more complicated than any other manufacturer in F1.
The whole Nissan thing.
Yeah. So Mercedes, they're still largely owned by the Daimler factory, or sorry, the Daimler family, and as well as like some big whatever, like with some big interests, but they kind of leave their board is structured so that the people that run Mercedes they run the thing,
the brand of Mercedes.
yeah, pretty much untouched. Ferrari, we know who's running Ferrari. It's Sergio Marchionne. We know who it is. So we got one person. He's answerable to just one family, the Agnelli in Italy. That's it. We have that sorted out. McLaren, again, Mansour Oje. We know who owns it. We know Ron Dennis. We know everybody. In Renault, the ownership of the company, because the mega company, we're talking about Renault Nissan now, and there are many sharded brands with all the things that they own. It's just way more complicated because it's so the French government owns part of it. And whenever the French government is involved, like, you know that there's gonna be some slow footing and some like going back and forth. So whenever any government is involved in like owning a private company, so the French government owns a bit of it, private families own a bit of it. It's a lot of it is out in the market. It's a very complicated company to run. So 3 years of underperforming just simply would not do in a board meeting. That's the point.
Yeah.
Whereas in Ferrari, you don't have to have a board meeting because the board is Sergio Marchionne.
Yeah. One dude.
In those cars as well, they're not exotics, but owning one is almost like owning an exotic in that, like, there's not the most popular cars. You know what I mean? Like, to get parts is expensive. My mom had one of those Nissan 3.5 Sentra, And, you know, just getting parts is expensive, and there's no Renault in North America at all. You can't buy them here.
No,
they're bigger. They're bigger in Europe
and South America as well.
Yeah.
Or well, pretty much everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, Africa, all over the place. But it's I don't know. It's kind of like they're more of a niche type of brand. They make good cars. That's why they sell.
Yeah.
But they're in a niche of people that are like, yeah, I want one of these good brand cars that no one else has, type of thing.
Yeah.
That's their strength, I guess. But yeah, in the F1 thing though, they've kicked ass before.
Yes, that's the whole point. They have a history of actually winning
and they've
races.
said over and over that they're here for this. They starting from last year, they said they had about a 3-year plan to come back and kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the 2nd year now. So
Well, and they see a value to that because when they were winning, their advertising value that they got to F1 was good enough to keep them going. So now imagine now when F1 is just only getting more popular. They obviously want to be in on the game because they can be, and even if it costs them a little bit more than they'd like to be spending on it, they know that the returns are there because they have the history. They have a brand in F1 already. They have a history in F1. They have things to capitalize by. As opposed to, like, let's say if just I'm not saying that they ever would, but let's say Tesla wanted to like somehow make their name in F1 some way or another. They'd have to start from zero and actually like build their name, and that's super hard. Like we saw with Marussia, how they tried to do it. It's super hard. But the fact that Renault has a history in F1, the Renault team historically has won some races. A lot of that legwork has been done, so they have that in terms
Renault
of just
engines have won championships with other teams.
yes. So in terms of market, like just intrinsic, like already built-in marketing value, there's a lot of stuff there that you could justify to a board. But not for 3 years, man. Not for 3 years of underperforming. and they know that, and that's why they're making the big steps that they're making. Honestly, like, and does Honda know that? I don't know. Actually, I have no idea about how the Honda management structure works, and I'm sure it's just completely different in Japan how these things work.
Yeah, there's more. I think more of a hierarchy and how many syllables are in your last name. And, like, you know, there's a lot more. I don't know, but it'd be interesting for us to look into.
Yeah, hey,
that's actually the team that I probably know the least about. Well, like I know they kicked ass before a long time ago, but like in this present time, you know, like the what was his name? The guy who said too much. The last head of Honda.
Oh,
the first guy.
Yes, Arai.
Arai, yeah. See, like, they're on the second guy, and he's worse, really, because he's not really good on the camera. He says too little. And then
he's the new guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's his name? Whoever.
See, Arai was open though. That's why he lost his job in the end, because you know he's like you could see like he was upset in the press conferences and stuff, and saying like, oh yeah, we're trying really hard. And the new guy, he's like the opposite. You can just tell he's lying. That he's like, oh, you're gonna see the power of our engine. We're gonna unleash it next weekend. Alonso's we're gonna qualify. But his face is lying, and then the engine catches on fire. I don't know. Yeah,
even in Indianapolis,
Honda's in a bad spot.
I do hope that they're actually like they keep their promise and they're actually serious about staying in F1. I do want to see.
Yeah, of course, the more the better.
Yeah, obviously the more
keep
the better.
Them in there. Yeah, I want to see them. Whatever, even if it's a number 4. I don't know.
Do you think Liberty will sort of reduce the risk of barrier to entry into Formula 1?
Yeah,
they're already doing that.
In what way?
They're already like, okay, so by providing value. So right now there's only like several things that they can do because they're contractually locked to many things.
Right.
With the Concord agreement and all that. But within what they can do, they've proven that they're thinking creatively about it. So they're saying, okay, so we're locked when it comes to like price and like how much things cost, but can we offer value?
Evan's ready, by the way.
Let's do it. Bring him in.
All right, Evan, you're coming on, bud.
For anyone that's like really interested in the politics and what the sport is moving towards, that special press conference with the 3 wise men last week in Montreal is worth sitting down and watch. It's about 40 minutes, but it's
What the hell's going on here?
I told you I'm calling him.
Oh, okay, you're calling him.
Wait, it's Ross Braun, Sean
Can you
Bratch.
turn this down a little bit?
Mustache.
Just while we...
Talking about
Wait,
all their
is he
balance
here?
plans. Is this it? We on? Is this the man?
Nope.
Is he hearing us?
Nope.
We're not hearing him?
Oh, are we
didn't
having
answer?
technical problems?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh
It's
my
all good.
goodness.
So we'll leave you figure that out. Can we help somehow?
I got it.
Okay, so sweet. Yes, that press conference was brilliant. It really, I don't like those. And here's a refreshing thing, and you can tell those guys, they get a question asked, and they'll answer with exactly how they have absolutely no problems with telling everybody there what their plans were gonna be. Okay, this is what we're gonna focus on. And yes, some of the stuff it sounded vague. But I think it had to sound intentionally vague.
They wanted to tell everybody what was coming
Yes.
up. Like, I forget, there was 40 minutes of questions, but Chase Carey gave an answer for one of the questions, and he's like, and actually, Ross Braun can give you the better answer from his side of it. And
Yes.
he's like,
That
tell
was
them more, tell them more.
awesome.
He's like, tell them more.
Yeah.
And then Sean
Yeah, almost-
Bratches too, he's like,
Almost like
super extra
Ross
excited.
Brown was like almost like taking like he didn't expect that. He was
Are you sure you want me to
Right?
tell them?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want me to tell them?
yeah, and he that was amazing to see.
All
Let's
right,
do it,
you
let's do it.
guys good?
Yeah, let's do
Great
it. Let's do it.
press
This could make for like a good beat.
Yo.
Hello.
Wait,
Hello.
are we, like,
Oh,
can we put him over there? Or just like
Just throw you over here.
there we go. There
There
it
we
is.
can see
I can see
you
your
can see
teeth.
your teeth and your and the
Top
bottom
a-
half
and
of
the
your
top a PBR
glasses.
there.
Move your
Hold
camera.
on, are
up,
you guys
dude.
facing the wrong way?
There you go.
No. Hey, there you go. Now I can see your mug.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Evan, do you hear us clearly? Do you?
Yeah.
Do you see us, or is it just?
Well, hey.
This is
Whoa, what's up? You like my junk?
Yeah,
No, I don't
now
see you guys.
we're just looking at your junk there for a second there, bud. When the thing says we're receiving data.
Should be good to go.
and we're back.
Yeah, sorry everybody. Like if you just lost us there, it wasn't too long.
Here's Evan
We're talking with Evan right now.
from America.
Hey Evan.
What's up, guys?
Pretty good.
Very good.
Evan, just to run a quick introduction, like why should people care who you are? Why we're here? I just want to say, so Evan, you're one of the moderators of one of the most amazing things that has happened to me in my life as an F1 fan, and that has been
The F1
the
subreddit,
Reddit
yeah.
community in F1. Honestly, it's just there is just something when you're an F1 fan in North America.
I go there every morning. You
You
should. You should too.
Yeah, well, I do.
No, not you. The listeners.
Yeah, everybody should.
Everybody should.
Everybody should. If you're not on Reddit yet, and honestly, I know that like some people have like some weird idea of like what Reddit might be before joining Reddit. I had the same.
Yeah. How fun was the Reddit meetup?
The meetups.
Maybe need to go to a schedule at a bigger bar next year.
Yeah.
And a cool
definitely.
one with like wind or something. It was
No,
it was really hot
listen,
in there.
What happened there is that we were supposed to go
We're with a
upstairs.
fan.
We were supposed to go upstairs where there was a nice cross breeze on the patio. That was the whole point. We found a place that had like enough outdoor space, but people, Jesus Christ, you guys, why did you gravitate to the basement?
Maybe it wasn't hot when it started. Okay, you never
We
know
got-
how these things develop, right?
Yeah. Anyway, it got way too hot.
Evan, are you still there? Like you're frozen on our screen.
Uh oh.
Did we lose him?
Oh. Call ended.
Okay, well, Mike, I'll leave you to like try to like get Evan back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Evan's one of the moderators from the F1 Reddit crew.
Yeah.
The Reddit group. Yeah, we met him in Montreal there.
It was okay. So
And-
it was instrumental. So Reddit. So Evan, as a moderator of the Reddit group, he was instrumental in trying to get like the community organized, and we did. I think that the part of why this year was so great.
It's only gotten bigger, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it only got bigger, but like definitely one of the reasons why this
there we
year.
go.
Nice, we're back. Why it was so successful is because we were able to get organized with all the people that were going to be there, either by themselves or with a small group that still wanted to have a good time with everybody.
The Slack chat as well was amazing.
Yeah,
great idea.
We
by
set
the
up
way.
the Slack, we set up the Reddit meetup, and then that just created a structure to the weekend that is something that I think that can be very easily ported forward. You know what I mean? Like we can, like, this is something that if you're a fan out there,
Yeah, it's only gotten bigger. It's only gonna get bigger.
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on, Mike?
He's here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, talk to him.
No, hey, yeah. Hey, Evan. So
Just having a conversation without him.
no, yeah. Hey, Evan. By the way, I see you're having a beer there, bud. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Dude, I got off of work, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta
why
grab
not?
something.
Cheers.
How was
So-
how was accounting today? How was accounting? Did you do a lot of accounting? Did you stare at a lot of spreadsheets today?
Well, I did share spreadsheets, but I don't do accounting anymore. So I left accounting. Now I do placement for accounting. I do headhunting. I get hired by clients to find CFOs, analysts, controllers, stuff like that.
Sweet.
So, yeah, accounting kind of sucks ass. So, I decided to move away from that. But no, I totally agree. And here's the crazy thing, right? So when I joined as a moderator, the sub maybe had 60,000 people, something like that, right?
And what is
that
it now up to? Like 230,000 more?
Yeah, so
huge, huh?
we have maybe 215, 220,000 people within the span of, I would say, a year and a half, 2 years. It grew. It almost quadrupled in size, and
Yeah, it's
and I think
exploded.
that's one a proponent of exactly what you were saying about Reddit. I mean, if you're into a sport, if you're into something niche like Formula One, I mean, especially for me, somebody who's in Washington, D.C., where maybe there's 30 people who know what F1 is, it's a way to meet and speak with people who like it, as well as get your fix, as you were saying. I mean, there's stuff that breaks on Formula One, on the subreddit before it breaks anywhere else. I mean, I think
Yes.
we knew about Giovinazzi and the Sauber seat before, half of half of the internet.
There
So-
were memes already about it.
Exactly. And you can't stop meme power, I mean, that's the truth.
No, we're really happy about how this year turned out in Montreal, and honestly, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody that joined us and made this event something
Yeah, it was so much
absolutely
fun.
hard to forget. I will never this is just one of these memories that I know that you and I will have, especially your birthday in Montreal, your first race.
It was pretty ridiculous.
Just talk us about what made the decision. Why did you think, you know what, it's my birthday, I gotta go to a Grand Prix, I like Formula One, I've been following this sport for many years. Why Montreal to make your first appearance?
Well, I guess there are three different levels to that, right? So the first level is I had the money. I've got a job where I can spend X amount of money on a trip like this and not have to worry about rent, and I'm covered on everything. So I was in a position with this job to where I had the disposable income to be able to do something like that. Number two is, I love racing. I like old school circuit. That really, and I think Montreal has that feel with the close walls and obviously the history
Absolutely.
behind the whole island. And obviously it being on my birthday weekend is not going to be a bad thing to jump on top of it. So, I mean, I think realistically, the whole thing came about. My wife and I were, I don't know, I think I was watching maybe Bahrain, something like that. And, I basically said to her when she woke up, because I'm pretty sure that was the middle of the night. So, I said to her, look, I want to do this. We can do this. My dad's really into racing. I want to go to a race with my dad. Why not just say fuck it and, well, pardon my language, viewers.
You're
but,
fine, man. This is a channel to do it.
So why not just fuck it and go for it? So, we did a bunch of planning. My mom speaks French, so it was a nice way to integrate, both my parents
Nice.
into the festivities. My mom and I actually share.
Uh-oh.
Wait a second.
We lost Evan again.
His mom did something.
She did.
His mom speaks French.
Just tell him to call us, not to call.
If you didn't know, everybody speaks French in Montreal.
Yeah. Montreal is it's part of Canada. It's in North America, but if you go there,
it's kind of weird.
You're gonna be surprised. It's almost like a different country.
That's weird. Like, I'm a Canadian. I've been to, I think, like 7 provinces, but on Quebec feels like another country.
It
like,
does.
As soon as you cross there, I've been all the other ones.
But everything
it
looks
feels
different. Everything feels different.
Yeah, I'm from Ontario, but all the other provinces I've been to, they're very similar. Quebec is very different. Feels different.
Yeah. Anyway, I think what Evan was trying to summarize there is that
Montreal's
it
badass.
came to him. It came almost as a decision that, like, it took a lot of planning. It took but I and we'll get his views when
Sounds
he comes
like
back.
it was almost inevitable for him.
Yeah.
But from what he after what he was saying though, like, you can definitely do the race on a budget.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
we've done it for like under $400 before for the whole weekend.
For the whole weekend.
For the whole weekend.
Each, not
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, 400 person.
Sorry,
There
here we
we go.
But for like a 4 or 5
Hey.
day trip to
All
Montreal.
right.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, we are back.
Back again.
We're back with Evan. Sorry about that to all of our viewers. That you guys are patiently still watching. Thank you for that.
Technical difficulties. So what I was saying was my mom and I actually share a birthday, so it's hard for me to do trips like this where we can actually celebrate together. And because she grew up in Paris, the whole France part, tying that together, it just was all around a very good and I guess easy to get into weekend. So I mean, it was awesome, dude. There's no question. I've been to prototype racing. I've been to IndyCar. I've been to Formula E. I've been to sports cars. I mean, I've been to pretty much anything with wheels on it. I've seen boat racing. I mean, this is on a whole nother level. And maybe it's, because of my Ferrari fandom and being able to see the cars up close and what it really means to me and my father and that whole relationship.
No, man, make no mistake. Formula One is a world event. It's badass.
Exactly.
That's why you're there.
Exactly. It's a world event. I mean, that's exactly how you have to put it. I mean, when I went to VIR for the sports cars. I've been to Long Beach for the Indy cars. 2 great venues. But when you put the circuits together and you come to Montreal, I mean, it's just completely different. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Sweet.
It really seemed
It really
like.
was,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it really seemed like the stars aligned for like you and your family and your wife to. It really just like came together as like one big piece.
And you can't rely on Montreal for the weather because, like, honestly,
Christ,
no,
no.
you like,
Right?
we did this. We did this last year.
Last year we had jackets, jeans,
No.
extra sweaters.
I didn't because I looked up the weather the week before and it said it was gonna be nice and warm, and then we got to Montreal and it was cold as fuck. So
And then this year we got roasted.
it was
30
great.
degrees.
It was, but with tons of wind.
Check
The
out
wind
my
made it better.
awesome watch stand. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got a little color there, bud.
What do you guys say in the hundreds of degrees? How many hundreds was it?
I don't know.
In
What was
Americans?
it?
I don't know, it was like 30, it was like 30 in
It got
Canadian.
up to like 93, something like that. It wasn't that bad.
Sunday wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like the wind.
The
Really
wind
helped.
helped.
Yeah, the wind helped.
Yeah, the wind on Sunday
God,
was
and
good.
in the
Fox
grandstands.
was even screwed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Evan, where were your seat? Where were you sitting?
They were right across from us
Yeah.
on the other
Good one.
Shit. Oh, that's right.
So you saw like the whole like thing and the hairpin. Isn't it so great? Okay, so now you would count. I mean, as a mod of the Reddit community and etc. I'm sure you count yourself as a bit of a seasoned F1 fan, but
I think so.
isn't it so good to now knowing what you know? I'm talking about like you prior to going to the Grand Prix, knowing what you know about the sport and the theory behind it and how to approach the corners and how different drivers do different things. And then once you see it, not because the camera is showing, but once you actually get the time to look at the one corner,
You see like 70 times. Every driver go by 70 times, and
for
you
the
really get to
it's so
absorb
good.
how.
It was fascinating. I mean, watching, even if you just focus on a certain driver, I mean, watching Lewis Hamilton on Saturday was flat out magic. I mean, it was unbelievable. And apparently, I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently he forgot that it was at 1 p.m. instead of 2. So he was plugging away on a computer, just headphones on, chilling. And they came in and like grabbed him and they're like, "Look, what the fuck? You gotta get in the car."
I did not hear that.
And he does that. Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
I thought it was an hour later.
The different downshifts. I mean, the lockups, the exit, watching them come into the corner.
Oh dear. We're having some troubles here, folks.
Oh,
He came into that corner, he made a little mistake, and he still broke the record by almost a half a second. It was incredible. He broke the record, went back to the pits, and you're like, oh shit, he broke
Sorry
the record.
about that.
Changed the tires, went out and broke the record again.
yeah, Evan, I'm starting to think that you have shit internet.
It's America.
It's America. What do you got? Verizon, Comcast, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, what's going on
Time
over
Warner.
there?
I have Comcast. All right, we can blame Comcast.
Yeah, it's probably because
like
you
a-
didn't have a choice.
I finished the Lewis Hamilton
You're
story
exactly
for you.
right.
No,
Dude,
but-
I had fucking Verizon DSL or this. That was
okay.
it.
Yeah. No, but
Choice.
okay, and so many stories came out of that race though. Other than like, okay, Lewis was great. Though Lewis was great to see, but you were at the hairpin, and we were talking about this earlier, especially on the Sunday when the wind was blowing all the way. You saw drivers making all kinds of mistakes all over the place. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, because they're usually so under control of their situation. So it was just, to me at least, like as a fan, it was great to see. It was great to see Lewis losing it and going way wide around the corner. It was great to see Hamilton, Vettel
Yeah.
just like trying to outbrake himself and getting it wrong consistently.
Yeah.
People's brakes were smoking.
Lance was pretty good at getting the braking wrong too.
Well, Lance
in that last
Hey man, he
the
finished in the
hairpin.
points. He finished
Yeah.
the points.
I mean, yeah, that means something, especially the
I'll take it.
Canadians. Yeah, I'll take it too.
But, all right. So do you think that based on how the cars are designed this year, with the big whale tail and the T wing and all that, do you think that adversely affected the cars with the high winds? Do you think it helped them around the hairpin? What do you think?
I think it had to hurt them.
I was the first one.
The shark fins.
As soon as Mike is sort of like our weatherman, and he like
I feel the air, and I tell them my response.
So you looked at the radar that morning,
I
and
did.
you said, this is what the weather conditions are gonna be, and this is how much the wind gusts are gonna go up to, and like immediately I was like, it's gonna be an amazing race. I said immediately, so I was like, it's gonna be great because we're
30
gonna
mile an hour winds.
because these
It was.
50 kilometers an hour.
these
Said that for
cars, like even if they were wider by 1 centimeter on each end, you would be able to tell. So the fact that they're 20 centimeters wider altogether, these
Yeah,
guys
you
have no idea how to react to like that kind of strong winds, especially at a circuit like Montreal, where you combine those fast straights with heavy braking zones.
Yeah.
That's where the real work of an F1 driver goes. We've seen it over and over and over again. Is braking while turning. That's it.
Yep.
That's the job. If you can brake while turning properly in an F1 car, that's your career.
And on top of that, too, we also had like a very like fresh track, right? It's not like the Montreal
Yeah.
track gets
Yeah,
used very often,
Friday to
right?
Sunday.
But that's the only use the track
Friday
gets.
was like pure smoke.
But it's-
every single
Everyone locking up.
Boom, boom.
yeah until you get that. We saw that black patch get put down,
Yeah.
and then for the
One of
race.
the things that was really interesting to me was how different they looked in person. I mean, the Mercedes car looked like a limousine, and the Toro Rosso looked like a tiny, Renault hatchback. I mean, it was unbelievable how different they looked.
Oh, damn it. Okay, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
But yeah, those are the rules. That is the Formula One. The cars can be different sizes, and that's been a huge part of the talk this year is how long the Mercedes really is. They went with a really long wheelbase, and Ferrari almost as long as them. Oh, that's it. Evan's bailing out now. He said he was doing that on his phone. I guess he said he's going to do it on his computer next time. And I guess that's it. What did you say? He said, "Oh yeah, he's done." It was great to talk to him. The Reddit mod. If you get your post deleted, and you thought it was really funny, you could probably
You bet it was him.
you probably could have Evan to blame. Or if you have people making fun of you in your question for asking innocent questions, he'll be there to defend you as well. Doing great work.
Doing God's work. God's work.
Yeah, cool
Lord.
guy. Him, like my friend too. We just ran into him at the track on race day. We just
That's incredible.
out of 100,000 people.
You know what I
oh
love?
shit, there's
You know what I
Evan.
love too?
Just bumped into
About
him.
much. One of my favorite parts about the weekend was, and this is tooting our own horn a little bit, which was how many of the people we saw from the race at Betty's this weekend.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we saw a
yes. Our message finally drilled in. Everybody that's come to see us, they have to go out to the race in Montreal.
You see-
Come on,
Yeah, how great it is. You
Yeah.
have to see it in person. You have to see it in person.
Have to see it in person.
Yeah. It's something totally different.
Visit the sub, but no shopping.
What he's done? He's done. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's
wanna-
done. He's doing.
He was
from-
doing that
from-
on his phone, so he said
Oh.
he'll get on his PC next time.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
on his laptop.
That no wonder he like his he looked all blurry and shit.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah, next time.
All right. Well, we've been at this for a while. Do you guys want to?
Wrap it up
Wrap it
soon.
up, yeah. We got some things. Left
So
to talk
one more thing. The F1 schedule has been released. We heard some news about that. Let's talk
yeah.
quickly about that and then end it there. How's that?
Cool.
This was something that actually came up in the Three Wise Men
Interview?
conference interview that I was talking about. Was the schedule usually comes out like right at the end of the season.
Yes.
The
They
schedule.
leave it till the very last minute.
And
basically.
then, you know, like we talked about this year. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like, isn't Canada even going to happen? Like, what if we just, like, find a place to stay, like, get a hotel or an apartment, and then the race just doesn't happen? Like, then, you know, that's what everyone's saying for every race. Like, I would need to buy plane tickets to go see this thing. Like, when do I find out that the date is set and what weekend it's going to be, so I know? And Liberty pulled it together. They released it this week. It's the, you know, not 100%, but 99% calendar. 2 new races. And then the first triple header.
the first triple header in F1.
The first triple
Wow.
header ever in F1.
So it's back-to-back weeks.
Back races.
So okay, so
for 3 weeks
let
in
me
a
actually
row.
like. Do you have
I
do you have
tried-
the story open?
I tried to find it.
Do you have the story open on your end, Danny?
I don't.
Here, I'll look it up.
Including Magny-Cours.
Oh,
Magny,
Here we go.
Magny. No, actually, it's not. It's not Magny-Cours. It's actually the Circuit Paul Ricard.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
where it is.
Here we go. Here we go.
It's in Magny-Cours.
No, that's not it. Magny-Cours.
So it's actually gonna be
Is there France?
the French Grand Prix, the Austrian Grand Prix,
Austrian.
and the British Grand Prix. So the French Grand Prix is coming back at the Circuit Paul Ricard.
Oh
Look
my
up,
God.
look up. Okay, so
I'll
while
do
we're
that,
talking
yeah.
about it, look up pictures. Circuit Paul Ricard, and that's spelled Paul like you know Paul
Yeah.
P-A-U-L, and then
As
last name
well as Germany.
R-I-C-A-R-D. It's Paul Ricard, Circuit Paul Ricard.
He's got.
Trust me, it's a beautiful to behold circuit
But
in the south of France.
the
No,
thing
look
is,
up like aerial
need-
pictures. This circuit looks awesome.
Yes. It kind of looks a lot
Oh.
like the U.S. circuit, the blue and red.
But they did
the
it
way that they
first.
painted it. They did it first.
Oh, that does
But-
look gorgeous.
Yeah.
You have to look up 2017 Formula One layout because this circuit has something like 80.
It has
80
no,
different
man. It
layouts
has
or
like
something
100
crazy.
and something layouts.
Yeah, it's
It-
a ridiculous amount
so
of layouts.
you just leave. No, actually leave this picture and let's talk about a little bit, just a tiny little bit about this circuit. So you know how it has these crazy curves everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about when we mean like the different configurations of the circuit. Because
Oh my God.
you can go around in so many different ways, right?
Right.
And they do that because the circuit is usually used for car companies to put their cars to the test. Like this circuit
damn.
is a high. It's called I think before it was or recently or whatever. Like it's like HTT or something. It got that designation HTT, like high technical track or something. Like I don't know the details, but it's a circuit where car companies actually take their cars to measure how do they actually like fare, because there's so much that you can do in terms of holy shit,
It's like it's about to
it's about to
rain.
storm here.
It's about
Yeah.
to be a thunderstorm. It's windy.
I
as hell
remember
outside.
looking at this map when we first started the podcast.
yes
And you guys were like, we have to check this one out. It's
Yes.
also the South African map too,
There's- There's
circuit.
been rumors for 2 years about this coming back, and they spent a bunch of money there.
But now it's confirmed. So
Now
it's
confirmed.
it's coming back
Wow.
at this circuit. And if you notice one thing, Mike, around it, the one thing that you see missed. So this looks like a circuit. It looks like an actual circuit where people would go there to see races, except for one thing. Can you spot it, Mike?
Sorry, what am I looking for?
So there is. So it looks like a circuit that everybody would,
No grandstands.
There's no grandstand.
oh,
yeah. There's no grandstands.
I was like, this looks great, man.
there's-
Like all the turns look solid.
Yeah, I know, but there's not even
Oh
like
my
a
God.
place to put grandstands there.
Oh my god.
Because it was just a circuit meant. So this is all over the track, all everywhere that you see track, just to the edge of it, there's sprinklers. Because this is a track to be meant to put cars under like all
Test them in
circumstances.
the rain.
Right.
Yeah.
Test them in some mist.
Now,
The racing is gonna be amazing.
now this circuit is coming
Dude,
back,
this corner, man.
and they're gonna
They're going around
I
that.
don't know. Reminds me of China.
Oh,
Is it
yes.
China a bit? Like
Yeah.
the first corner in
That
China.
one- that
was-
to
one's
the
way bigger.
even before you got back, this corner actually like reminds some people to the old the Istanbul Park one.
Turkey.
Yeah, Istanbul
Ooh.
Park. So Turkey, when they had an F1 race, they were known for this one corner that was basically like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was-
That corner
Florida
has like
was-
10. That corner has like 10 apexes if you really were.
Anyone
wanted
who's
to.
never seen it, Turkey had a corner where you go full throttle through 4 apexes. You just go.
Zoom, zoom, and
You just keep
So-
going left.
so
Go full.
you know how braking is difficult because you have to do it by markers and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine trying to like turn at the exact same spot at this one long corner
Right.
when you're going super fast and like it's the same corner, you just had to hit it 4 times.
Circuit of the Americas kind of has like a tamed down version, a slower version of a right hand corner that's kind of like Turkey, but it's not the same.
So anyway, so this has been
This
approved.
will be raced.
It's I mean, obviously there was no question
24th
whether or
of
not
June.
this would get FIA approval because it's such a high performance track.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Is it already FIA graded?
it's so Charlie Whiting went there and graded as grade A, so it's good for F1
Grade 1.
or sorry, grade 1. And but now what it's missing obviously is room for all the people. So they're going to have to like build some
Have to cut
infrastructure.
down some of those trees, maybe.
They have to fit a hospital. They have to fit like helipads, all kinds of stuff to actually make this work as a proper F1 track for people to watch. Not for the cars. It's ready for the cars, but it's not ready for people yet. But once they do, you know who's gonna win here. You know who this track is gonna suit the most.
Lewis.
Red Bull?
Bernie Ecclestone, because he owns it. He owns the track.
That's true. That's true.
That's so funny.
He owns the track, so he's getting all the money still. This
Maybe
is
that
not
was part of
funny.
his. Maybe that was part of his
Yeah.
contract for leaving when he left the sport.
Bernie's out of the
Let's not
sport,
leave, but
and
we gotta
he's
bring
still
this
gonna
race
get-
back.
Give me like, yeah, he's like, I'll sell the sport, but you give me like 5 tracks that aren't in like circulation right now. That's it. That's all I need. See you guys later.
And then this, as well as Hockenheim, is making the return next year, and
take a look at
Malaysia is no more.
No, but Malaysia actually,
Just the bank
they've
circuit.
actually said that if F1 becomes exciting again, they're open to bring it back.
That's
What they mean is, if F1 becomes cheap again, they're open to bring it back.
That's what they said last year, because they just spent a huge amount of money. We talked to Dromo Circuit Design
Is this it?
about
Hockenheim, right,
about
yeah.
the redesign. Yeah, that's the Hockenheim.
Not the long configuration. It used to be the long
That's the
configuration.
original one.
The long configuration, that part that looks
Through
like,
the
with the
forest.
huge thing sticking out.
It used to be a long.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So now
run
that's
through
what
the
it looks like where your
forest.
cursor is.
Yeah.
Two to the right. That's what it used to look like.
Oh,
That was, and then it was much better. Even though it looks simpler, it was much better.
The one
Really?
below it is
Yeah.
it, but yeah.
No,
Is
no,
it-
no.
that's not it?
Go,
But
go,
it
go
went-
right and then one down. No. Yes, that one. So that shows you like what it used to
That's
be
the
like.
old one,
And
yeah.
even though it seems simple, trust me, because it was such a high distance through the
It was
forest,
so
the challenge was
So
incredible.
dangerous. So dangerous.
Yeah.
Right through, straight through the forest at full throttle.
Yeah, it's another turn here. Oh my god.
Yeah, and if you actually, look up-
These are both considered
look up
chicanes?
look up
Yeah.
a Hockenheim ring like 1980 or something, or like Hockenheim ring old circuit like, and you'll see.
Oop,
Yeah.
Craig.
It's called the Ost
The Oz slash
Ostschleif, something like that.
No, just do
Wait.
forest. Just
Oh,
do forest, or forest loop.
God.
Yeah. Like I used to
Yeah,
go
see,
like
it's all overgrown now.
yeah, I used to go right into the forest. It was crazy. That was a crazy circuit. Anyway, it won't ever get back to that. But
No.
the fact that it's coming back to the F1 calendar and that we will have a German Grand Prix next year is very exciting. Mike, you were talking about like whether it's not whether it's a good time to cut it short right now, and
Yeah.
I'd say yes.
Okay.
So to our
Cool.
dear listeners,
We apologize.
well, no, we
No, it's-
we apologize
no,
for
like-
wasting this 2 hours of your life. Let's get out of here.
All right, guys. Thanks again for
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next week.
Talk to you next time. After Baku.
That's what I'm talking about. That was like a good old episode.
Let me get on the thing.
I'm squirming out of the line. Trying to wipe it from out of my eyes. Summer's climbing up these dirty walls. Was my animal heart driving? But you love me, you deceive me. You want me to undo. But you love me, you deceive me. You want me